and some reports over how ominous it may look. Also, the rainfall is incredibly heavy too.
All right, I'm not sure we have connection to his microphone. We'll try to get him up there as well. All right, I guess we do.
And a lot of the rain gauges are reporting anywhere from an inch to 1.5 in a half hour's time. And of course, with our flood threat and our flooding problems, that's not good for us either.
All right, so we've had several inches of rainfall, at least an inch to an inch and a half of rain out of some of these storms as they move off from southwest to northeast, moving over Osage County. Osage City to Linden area, you need to be in your tornado shelter at this time as the storm continues to move off to the north and to the east. The circulation still showing up very sharply near Osage City. So again, this is a storm that has had a history of producing at least large hail, very heavy rainfall. We had the report of perhaps a tornado earlier on this one, and it looks like we may have what significant circulation showing up just to the east of Osage City. So there's your circulation right there. It is just outside of town, crossing K31 right now. That is the most significant area of circulation as it moves to the northeast. As we've been talking about, it'll pass between Linden and Osage City, moving off to the north and east. That storm tightly rotating east of Osage City. This is the one storm that really has produced the most significant circulation at this time. We'll continue to watch this one as it moves its way through Osage County at this time. Tornado warning continues until 5:30. So this is for Osage City to Linden and a little bit to the north. It does include Burlingame. Eventually, if it continues on, it's headed up toward Overbrook, perhaps into the Carbondale area. This storm pretty much making a beeline right across Osage County at the time. So this storm certainly needs to be watched very closely. We've got our storm tracker en route toward Linden, hopefully to kind of see that storm. The unfortunate part is circulation is going to be extremely hard to see. As I show you where that is, and I'll put on the rotation here, it is tucked away into the rain right now. It is not on the leading edge of it. It's a little bit inside the rain. So a rain-wrapped circulation showing up east of Osage City, west of Linden. That is moving across K31 and eventually on back up toward US 75 if it continues on this path. So that is the storm that we're looking at there. I'll zoom out just a little bit, give you an indication that we're watching the other ones, but that is the one that is really truly circulating. The other ones are producing some other threats though. And with this, we do have a lot of hail falling on the northern cells. The hail has been on the increase around Osage City. This is becoming a very dominant supercell thunderstorm over Osage County right now. And as we kind of zoom out just a little bit, you'll see that we also have the hailstorm moving across southern Jackson County, northern Shawnee County. That one may be falling apart just a little bit on its intensity, which is certainly good news. We've already had some pretty significant hail falling earlier on that on the storms that moved through, but we still have a decent size hail. If we can, we'll pull up our West Topeka weather cam if it's available. We'll take a look at that as that storm looks like it is passing over the northwestern corner of the city of Topeka. That one moving off to the north and east. You can see the heavy rain kind of getting on the right over on the upper or the far right hand side of the screen, right where I'm pointing at. That is the kind of the base, the southern end of that thunderstorm as it moves through, and you can kind of see just a little bit of the base of it. No rotation showing up on that storm as we kind of look past it, a little bit clearing out behind it. Heavy rain over the city of Topeka, intense thunderstorm farther to the south. As we look at the storm right now over Osage County, this is the one that has prompted the tornado warning, and for good reason. It certainly has been a significant one. We'll look at the debris signature on that. Not still seeing much of a debris signature out of that storm, so that is a good sign. Typically those are in the larger of the tornadoes you start seeing that, but we are certainly seeing a circulation that is tightly rotating east of Osage City, and it sounds like the signature has been there long enough. It's a long-lasting circulation. I don't expect it to go away anytime soon. So south of Carbondale, north of Linden, you need to be in your tornado shelters right now. Osage City, the storm has passed you by. You'll be in the clear. You'll be in the clear over the northern side of Melvern Lake as well. Pomona Lake area, it is moving toward you. So you've got probably passing well north and west of Quinamo. Between Carbondale to to Overbrook, you need to be in your tornado shelters at this time, as this storm has about 5 more minutes on the warning on that one. We're going to be watching this one very closely as it moves off to the north and east to see whether or not an extension is needed on the tornado warning on this one right now. You can see where the tornado warning is located. It has now been extended all the way up to the northeastern corner of Osage County. So this is a new tornado warning now for the remainder of northeastern Osage County. This will include Carbondale, Overbrook, and areas right along the Pomona Lake area. So this is not including Quenemo, but it will include that area of northeastern Osage County. It does not include Shawnee or Douglas at this time. It is just Osage County until 6:15. The tornado potential is right to the east of Osage City. It'll probably move just to the north and west of Linden, cross over US 75, fairly close to where the Carberlin Park area is, where Dragoon Creek crosses 75, then maybe up toward the Four Corners region, and then over toward also Overbrook. Those are the areas that are of most concern right now within Osage County. So taking a look at this on radar, right here on the edge of it, we've got the storm tracker that is en route to that storm. So in Topeka, we're getting a thunderstorm rolling through. Heavy rain is going to be the concern with street flooding for the drive home. And we've had some rounds of hail as well. Take a look if we can. We can pull up on the Chaser computer, Andrew, if we can. We'll pull up the Overbrook camera here shortly, and we can get that loaded up from from our view there. We have a camera in Overbrook, so we can watch that as it comes right across. It'll be passing very, very close to that location. The camera is actually located just a little bit south into rural areas of northeastern Osage County, and so we'll watch that as the storm passes right toward that location as well. This is a very intense thunderstorm as it moves off to the north and east. You can see clearing out now at Emporia as we head to the east from about Lebo to Osage City. In the clear now from the worst of the circulation. Farther to the north, this cell over Topeka moving up into Jefferson, and parts of Jackson County may be severe with hail the main threat, but the tornado warning is for this storm near and east and just northeast of Osage City. And we do have a camera located in that location. Take a look at that if we can. This is a view. Let's go and take it full screen if we can. There's that button on the bottom left to take it up full screen so we can get the whole thing out of the way. There you go. There's a view. This is a look off there. This is just kind of a view across northeastern Osage County, just south of Overbrook. We'll be watching that. It's got a kind of a fish-eyed view of the western horizon. To give you an idea, this is a fixed camera. You can see the storm approaching. This is, as the storm moves in, this is the tornado-warned portion of the storm, just beyond those trees. So this one, as it moves up toward there, will be continuing going back and forth to that particular view as the storm moves off to the north and east through Osage County. Let's take a look back, if we can, at Max Track Radar. Again, so that was a view located just outside the rain back at that area and that storm. And so that's going to give us about the best view we'll have on that one for just a little while. So we'll be coming back to that one here shortly. So hail threat on this one is also on the increase near and just east of Osage City. We have hail falling over portions of Shawnee County under the severe thunderstorm warning. In addition to that, the rotation. Most notable right there, nearing US 75. So we'll take a close look at that one. That is about the only one right now that's showing signs of rotation. None up around Topeka. It is all this storm right here to the north and west, just a little bit from Linden. Not too far, maybe about 2.5, 3 miles northwest of Linden. We've got a tight circulation about to cross US 75. Here you have Pomona State Park. To the north and west is where this will pass, right over perhaps the western side of the lake. Vassar area may be kind of an area that would be of concern. Michigan Valley on the southern end of Pomona Lake, and then to the north you have Overbrook, and I think this is headed very, very close on a path toward Overbrook. So you need to be getting in tornado shelter. The warnings have been already issued for northeastern Osage County. You need to be in tornado shelter right now for that area. Let's take a look if we can. Let me zoom this out just a little bit so we can get a full view of the storm. And what I'll do with this is give you at least a time of arrival track on this one. So now that we're coming up at 5:30, if you are coming up on 5:30 now, if you're watching us on KTKA, we're in the middle of severe weather coverage, tornado warning coverage for Osage County. At this time, we have a potential tornado just to the northwest of Linden, east of Osage City, moving to the northeast. I'm about to do a time of arrival. So you're in your typical KSNT News at 5:30, which we broadcast on KTKA time slot. So we're going to continue with our coverage of this for anyone who might be in the path of the storm as it moves off to the north and east at about 40 miles per hour. Puts it to Overbrook by 5:47. So you've got about 15 minutes or so in Overbrook. If it speeds up a little bit, you may want to subtract a little bit of that away and be ready by 5:40 that it could be really close to your doorsteps. On toward Clinton State Park and Lawrence after the 6 o'clock hour. We've got a camera there. We'll be watching that storm as it approaches from the south and west as well. So again, this storm moving off to the north and east. It is a storm that largely with this is going to be somewhat rain wrapped. It's kind of tucked right in to this particular storm. We've got Jace Mill. He is back to the west of the line of storms, looking at it to the east. Jace, I know you're kind of out there by Paxico. Are you able to see kind of anything with this storm as you look off in the distance from it?
Yeah, Matt, we're as I mentioned, just a little bit east of Paxico. On the east side, you can certainly see the dark clouds, a little more ominous on that side. But as you look to the west of I-70, as folks would travel maybe to Junction City in that area, obviously much further west, but in that direction, things are a little more brighter as we're not seeing as much of those storms. But again, towards Topeka, towards that area, as we get east of Paxico, certainly darker. Not a lot of activity here, no rain or anything, as we've been kind of sitting here waiting for the next place to go, but you can certainly see the difference between the east side of those storms and further west, Matt.
All right, thanks, Jason. Again, we do expect to see more storms coming in from the west a little bit later on. Right now, this is the storm of concern, the circulation here. This is the area right to the north of Linden, where that tight circulation has prompted a tornado warning for pretty much all of central and northeastern Osage County under that tornado warning until 6:15. We've got our camera located near Overbrook, just to the south of town, that we'll try to get that one up on the screen for you again if we can. If we can get that one side by side on the out of the computer site, that'd be great if we can do that. If not, we'll just take it full screen. There we go. That one is actually not in Topeka, though. That is, just forgive us as we're trying to get these onto air extremely quickly for you. That one, that is a view out of Overbrook area. And so that is as that storm approaches, and we'll watch that one as it comes in. So once we get that one back up there and located, here's the tornado warning indicated with that. As it saw it flashing there, just getting an update that they're continuing it until 6:15 for a strong rotation just to the north of Linden, moving up toward Overbrook. And Overbrook, you need to be in tornado shelter right now. Anywhere along Pomona Lake, you need to be in tornado shelter immediately. Getting into the lowest level of your home, perhaps into an underground shelter if it's available to you, would be the absolute best, as that is the safest location. No matter where you go, cover yourself up with pillows and blankets. And as that storm moves off to the north and east, you can see definitely a very intense thunderstorm really becoming the dominant storm out of this. Take a view of this, and I'll put a little what we call our scope on here so we can kind of watch where the rotation is. Right there, south and east of Scranton, north of Linden, southwest of Overbrook. And you see on the other side of your screen, this is looking to the west, and it'll kind of watch that storm as it approaches, and it makes its way in. So we can just leave that one up for a while, because I tell you what we're looking at on there is the storm as it approaches the area under the tornado warning. Here's a view of it. Again, circulating right here. We're looking back across just almost on a beeline to the west, right toward that area of circulation on that storm. So as it comes out of there, if anything can be seen toward the rain, we'll have a vantage point of it from that side. The other thing that we've got with this storm is a hail concern on the western edge of it. Hail sizes could be getting up to about inch and a half in diameter on this storm as it makes its way across, and that'll be on a little bit north and west of the actual circulation. So this may include areas up toward Four Corners or Scranton, and as well Overbrook. You could also get hail out of this storm as well. Take a look here on our view of the radar just itself. What we're looking at on here is the heavy rain all the way up to the southern end of Topeka. That is this storm. So it is a very wound up thunderstorm, tightly rotating in Osage County as it crosses US 75, making it toward Overbrook. You need to be in tornado shelter over northeastern Osage County. And a heads up, if you're watching our signal out of Lawrence as well, you certainly need to be taking this storm seriously, as this storm has a capability of a tornado. We've had a couple of reports come in that perhaps we saw some swirling debris from the thunderstorm as it crossed over east of Redding to the south of Osage City, and as it came in across Lyon County and then over southwestern Osage County, and now it makes its way here. Started up just from from I-35 east of Emporia in Lyon County, crossed south and east of Osage City. Now we find it here. It is moving up to areas very, very close to Overbrook. So if you are in the Overbrook area, you need to be in tornado shelter, underground if at all possible. If you don't have an underground shelter available to you, you need to make sure you're in a small interior room, windowless closet, away from as many exterior walls as possible. See a little bit darkening of the sky as that storm starting to, at least the base of that thunderstorm is getting closer and closer to clearing the tree line for visibility. So we're going to keep that one going for you as that storm approaches. what you might be seeing is this little bullseye, or this little bulging area is probably a better way to say that, of precipitation. That may be what we're seeing over there, kind of on that lowering of that, is the heavy rain approaching from that as well. And it'll give us an idea of whether or not there's any visibility to this thunderstorm at all. If we can see it, we're going to be able to see it from that vantage point as it approaches. Take another look at this. The hail on this one also increasing as well as that crosses US 75. Anyone who would be heading home this way, heading out of Topeka, if you can get word to anybody to, again, avoid US 75 through Osage County and make sure they kind of divert and go around that. That is definitely a concern there as that moves on through. It looks like we've changed the wording there at the bottom, if we can get that switched back to Overbrook, just so we have that. There's the tight circulation showing up, possible tornado just to the south and southwest of Overbrook. This will be on a path toward Lawrence as well within the next 35 to 45 minutes. Scranton, Osage City, Burlingame, you're in the clear from this storm. This will continue to move to the north and east, crossing over northeastern Osage County into southwestern Douglas County. Tight circulation, possible tornado. That looks a little bit more ominous on radar than it has been over the last few scans. Let's go back to our Overbrook camera and see if we've got any visibility of what we might be seeing out of that, as a tight circulation is showing up there as well. So again, here is a look at it on radar. Difficult maybe to see because it is somewhat tucked in on the leading edge of that rain, but the circulation is there. There's a view of it as it approaches. You can see the very ominous look to the storm cloud as it makes its way through northeastern Osage County and eventually on up toward Douglas County as well. So this is a concern for Lawrence. Topeka, heavy rain and perhaps some standing water on the roads, especially on the roads and the highways. We do have Dylan Caloran. He is out and about. Dylan, if you're on the line with us, let me know where you are and what you're seeing from your vantage point.
Yes, Matt. Hey, if you can hear me, we're driving through some pretty good rain here on 75. We're just north of Linden, about to 56 Highway, where we are going to continue to Overbrook to get back in position. We have yet to see this tornado, as it is very rain wrapped.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing.
It is a very HP high precip storm as it moves to the northeast.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at here. We've got a camera located in the Overbrook area. It's kind of a ground-mounted view that we're seeing there. We can definitely see the brewing of the storm clouds out ahead of it. But we are certainly not seeing, the clouds are moving quickly from south to north out ahead of the storm. But as Dylan was saying, we might take this down. I want to point to something over here on the horizon, if we can clear that view out of it. So here we have, just starting to see coming over the tree line there, we're starting to see the clearing on the base of the thunderstorm. So we're going to get a decent view of it. The circulation would be in this portion of the storm right here. So this is kind of on the southwestern edge of the storm as that moves through. And again, I mentioned this is kind of a fixed location camera, so it's just going to pass right overhead. We only have a view looking to the west on this one, but if there's a tornado, it's going to be located in this portion of the storm. That is very heavy rain that you're looking back toward, and as Dylan mentioned, as Christina mentioned, which we might get back in touch with her and see if she's got any better visibility from her location in the storm tracker. If we can pull up that signal here as well. But this is again, a lowering capable of producing a tornado as it moves closer and closer to Overbrook at this time. Let's take a look, if we can, back to a view on Max Track radar. Very heavy rainfall with this storm. That's, again, problematic. Rain is starting to set in already at Overbrook. As that storm approaches, the circulation is tucked right into that rainfall, making it very, very difficult to see, but a tight circulation. I'll give you a little bit of a closer view here as we look at this. It is a storm just to the south and southwest of Overbrook. So here you've got Overbrook, and there's the circulation. And so this is going to be coming through from Pomona State Park, just to the north and west of the main part of the park, heading toward or just to the south of Overbrook, fairly close to that. Eventually it'll cross 56 likely as it approaches, if not into Douglas County. It'll approach 56 near the Douglas County line east or along from Overbrook to the east. There's another view looking at that storm as it moves in toward Overbrook. Fairly soon, once the rain sets in, we'll have a more difficult time seeing that. The actual camera location isn't in Overbrook, just a little bit to the south of town. And so as that's moving toward us, you see the heavy rain approaching toward that camera site as it's moving through. Heavily raining at Pomona State Park and Overbrook both, but here comes this circulation passing in the middle of this very tightly rain-wrapped kind of situation. We might be looking back. It's very likely we could be looking at the tornadic circulation over on that camera there and may have a very difficult time to depict it. We can take that back up full because I want to show you what I'm looking at here. It's over in this portion of the storm right here, this darkening. This darkening right here looks more than the heavy rain over in this area. If you kind of notice the color change right here. This is the location of where the tornado would be located as it moves through. And if there's a tornado, it's located in this portion of the storm as it moves across, headed toward Overbrook. This is looking west. From this vantage point, Overbrook is that way. So it's actually toward town. It's headed up toward Overbrook. That's why you need to stay in your tornado shelter in Overbrook. Here's the circulation showing up west, a little bit south and west of the city of Overbrook, moving north and east. Eventually it'll head toward town as well. So there is just an unfortunately very kind of ominous look to this storm cloud over here. It's tucked away into the rain, and so actually getting a good visibility of it is going to be very difficult to see. But we have this kind of coming right over the top of us. We're going to have this broad circulation moving through as well. And that could be the heaviest of the rain. We'll keep watching all these cloud features. It's an interesting vantage point to us. Meteorologist David George as well has got some updates on this. I'm going to step out just so we can get a good view of this. David, what do you have?
Yeah, Matt, the tornado warning, it does run now until 6:30, and this is in advance of what you're talking about, near the Pomona Lake and also the Overbrook areas, moving northeast at 35. So Douglas and Franklin counties now part of the tornado warning until 6:30.
All right. So as this continues to move through, we'll kind of widen the view out here just so you can get an idea of all of what we're looking at. This is really clustered in there. Just since we've last zoomed out, though, look at the difference on the storm developing in southwestern or south central areas of Marion County, north and east of Wichita. That could be a next round of storms. Right now, this one approaching Douglas County, this one has the capability of producing a tornado. As we look at it, kind of pan this over just a little bit, and David was mentioning new warnings have been extended on that one. We'll take a look at that as well. The warnings on this particular storm in red here from Osage County into Douglas and northwestern Franklin County. Those are the tornado warnings been extended now. Osage County goes until 6:15. Douglas and Franklin County, that new tornado warning goes until 6:30. Again, we're watching on the left-hand side of the screen from south of Overbrook as that storm approaches. You can definitely see an extremely intense thunderstorm moving over Osage County right now. Capability of a tornado on this one. Take a close view in there as well. We've seen so many of these storms over the last several days. Easy to get a little fatigued from having to watch each one of these. But what we are looking at looks like that may be a view. Let's go and take that one down. I think they're doing some work over there on that computer. But here we have this rotation showing up right over Overbrook. This continues to move on to the north and east, headed toward the Lawrence area. We have a camera located there as well. Currently, we're going to first see rain. But then once we get clear of that, we may get a vantage point looking back from Lawrence at the storm as well. We'll stay on this. Typically, Douglas County is kind of the edge of our viewing area, but we have a lot of people to and from Topeka and Lawrence, so we'll keep watching that. You can see that view there. We will stay on this storm as long as there is a tornadic threat headed toward the city of Lawrence as well. So there is a view from our Lawrence cameras. We kind of scan the edge of that thunderstorm, kind of looking back through this portion of the storm. We will continue to watch that, and Gabrielle may be giving us may be able to tell us directionally if we're looking on that one. I believe from where we're located, that is a view more to the west or southwest across campus, mounted at the Oriad. So let us know if we're looking in that right direction on that one. But I believe we're looking back toward the storm right there from the south and west. So again, there's our vantage point looking south and west out of Lawrence, back toward the storm coming out of Osage County. That'll move in toward Douglas County as well. Take another look at this. Again, if you are in Overbrook, you need to be in tornado shelter already. Still a very intense circulation showing up just to the south of Overbrook. If we can, let's pull back up our Overbrook camera when we get an opportunity, and you can pop that back up on the screen when we get the chance to do that, because what I want to do with that, kind of give you an idea. of where this circulation is coming out of Osage County. That's where the tornado warning goes until 6:15, extends on into northern Franklin, southwestern Douglas County until 6:30. Again, this storm has a history of producing perhaps enough circulation that's warranted several tornado warnings, but we're certainly seeing that there. Here's a view of that storm as it approaches. The rain is moving in. The circulation should be passing directly overhead here shortly in the Overbrook area. And since the circulation is passing just a little bit south of Overbrook, that is exactly where that camera is located. So we'll continue to monitor that and see if we see any kind of circulation pass through this camera view. So again, this is a look of the storm itself as it approaches. Circulation is moving through there. You can kind of see the storm itself. Heaviest rain off to the north and east over here. We do have a little bit of a darkening on that side. It's probably the heaviest of the rain located there. And this is a look back toward the circulation. That might be a lowering of the storm itself. Looking into that rain, we'll keep an eye on that. This is south of Overbrook. The city of Overbrook is a bit to the north, just right of the camera view here. This is looking due west from south of Overbrook, and any circulation that would be in there might be tucked back into this rainfall. We haven't seen a lot of the rain move into the camera location just yet. I mean, there is some rain falling, but hasn't completely obscured the view to the west at this point. So we're monitoring this as a potential area for a tornado. This is southwest of Lawrence. This is due south and a little bit east of due south out of Topeka. It's not going to affect the city of Topeka, this particular storm. This would be headed toward Lawrence. So again, if you're watching this, wondering where is this heading to next, so we'll take a look at that, kind of a side-by-side view again here shortly. There you have the view as this storm moves off to the north and east. There's the circulation. We're monitoring that on the camera. There it is, south and east of Topeka, headed toward Lawrence as that storm continues to show tight area of circulation near and just south of Overbrook. Meteorologist David Georgian here with me as well. David, what do you have?
Matt, we do have the excessive rainfall reports coming in now. So we have the tornado threat that you've been mentioning. We've had the larger hailstones, but now a lot of gauges reporting anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches of rain in 1 hour's time. And that extends from Allen all the way to southwest Topeka.
All right. And I noticed too, when you're looking at this, and we'll keep this again, if you're in eastern, northeastern Osage County, southwestern Douglas County, stay in your tornado shelter. We're going to be watching this. But while I do that, I want to pull up the warnings, because in addition to that, I noticed we do have a flash flood warning that includes the city of Topeka, it includes Auburn, includes most of western Osage County down into Lyon counties as well. So again, tornado warning in red for northeastern Osage, southern Douglas, northern Franklin County. The Douglas and Franklin County portion goes until 6:30, Osage County until 6:15. But flash flood warnings including Topeka down 75 into Osage County, so that's going to be another concern. A lot of people traveling this time of day. We certainly have a dangerous storm. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen an ominous storm cloud moving into just areas just to the south of Overbrook. That storm continues to move through Osage County. The heaviest rain starting to arc into now southwestern Douglas County. That'll be approaching the city of Lawrence. But again, a storm that has an ominous kind of lowered level base to it as it passes directly over the camera location here. That storm passes on by, and it becomes a concern for the city of Lawrence. In addition to this, we also have the hail concern. We haven't seen any hail falling from at least what I've been able to tell through that camera view, but likely it's passing a little bit farther north. As you can see, the storm cloud moving directly up overhead at Overbrook. Here's a look at the hail from about Overbrook to Pauline and South Topeka. There's a larger area of hail there. This will also be approaching Lawrence and travel along the turnpike. If you know anyone who's heading between Topeka and Lawrence, first of all, careful heading in and out of Lawrence because of the potential tornado that would be headed in that general direction. Watch that storm as it comes in. Obviously, first obscured by rain. You're not going to get a real clear view of it initially, but as the first round of rain with that thunderstorm, and I'll show you that on radar here, as that first round of rain moves on through, and we can look past it, get this back into a view, pan that back over to the side, sorry about that. We'll get that moved back over. So heavily raining in Topeka, trying to see through this south of Lecompton, back toward Overbrook, trying to see the circulation that's rain wrapped. There's all this rain moving into Lawrence right now, and that's what we're looking at on that camera view over there. Difficult to get a vantage point of that, trying to look past that into this notched area of the thunderstorm, but even that, it's not right at the leading edge of that notched area of the thunderstorm. Where we're seeing that rotation is actually tucked into the rain. If the tornado is forming with this, it is moving over Overbrook or just east and southeast of Overbrook. Let's go back to our our Overbrook camera with that. That circulation will be passing directly overhead at the time now, and with that circulation showing up just to the south and east of Overbrook, that storm moving to the north and east will eventually impact Lawrence. But again, it is a storm that has the capability of producing certainly the circulation that you see passing overhead on that storm as it passes by. The good news is we're not seeing, well, very heavy rain coming down. We're not seeing, at least at that camera location, a tornado, but there's certainly a strong possibility of a tornado crossing out of Osage County and into southwestern Douglas County at this time. So we need to be taking tornado shelter immediately. This will include areas all the way to the north and east over areas of Lawrence. No report right now coming in off of that. Still looking on this as well to see on the warnings out of this. We do have the tornado warning all the way up to southern and western Lawrence. It includes Baldwin City. It does include Overbrook. And again, the flash flood warning farther to the north and west over Shawnee County, as well as much of Osage County all the way back into Lyon County, eastern Lyon County, that flash flood warning. Tornado warning for northeastern Osage County, southern and southwestern Douglas County. That goes until 6:15 for Osage County. The storm is exiting out of the county. You can see looking over on the side of your screen there. Certainly have the heavy rain setting in. Have not seen a circulation on the ground at this point, but we will be watching to see whether or not we can see anything out of that, and our attention will then turn to Lawrence, where we get a view out of there. So again, more tornado warnings. We'll have to keep an eye on this west of Concordia. Seeing storms developing out in that area as well. So numerous severe thunderstorm warnings across a large part of Kansas. So here's a view across the entire viewing area. Severe thunderstorm warning up in Atchison County as this storm produces at least what looks like to be numerous cells over here. We've got another one we're watching over Marion County, and this cell, which is due west of Concordia, may eventually impact Republic County as well. But right now, all attention is on southwestern Douglas County as the storm exits out of Osage into Douglas County. Potential of a tornado with that storm as it approaches the Lawrence area. So that is the top concern at this time with this particular storm for our viewing area. You can see that brightness right there. Take a closer look at that, and what you're going to see on that particular storm is a circulation capable of producing a tornado southwest of Lawrence, right on the Douglas and Osage County line to the east of Overbrook. This storm has had enough circulation with it. It has prompted a tornado warning to be issued until 6:30 over pretty much all of southern and southwestern Douglas County as it moves to the north and east in toward the Lawrence area. Here's another look at the heavy rain that's coming down with this, why it's going to make it so difficult to see. It is tucked away into the rain. This has been the concern. All of our storm trackers that are out there have said the exact same thing. You just can't see much looking into these storms as they continue to move through. Meteorologist Andrew Adams is with us as well. Has a little bit more on this thunderstorm as well. Andrew?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we actually have a live stream right now from one of our storm trackers that's out, Kyle Soldani. He is east of Overbrook, just in Douglas County, looks like, if we can get that popped up. He's driving through, had a little bit better of a vantage point a moment ago before he turned on this road. Couldn't really see a whole lot like it, a lot from it, kind of like what Matt's been talking about with the fact that this circulation is more back in the rain. That's what the last shot looked a lot more like, a lot more rain. This current shot that we're seeing there turned more toward the clearing out ahead of this storm. So just going to continue to watch this and monitor and see what comes of it and if we can get a good view of the storm.
All right, thanks on that one. We will continue to watch that. That was east of Overbrook, kind of trying to get into this area. Kyle Soldani is out on that storm. Storm Track Team number 2. He'll be watching that. Team number 3, we've been looking. So that's what you see on the left-hand side of your screen as the live stream coming in from Storm Track Team number 2 as they're into southwestern Douglas County. We'll continue to monitor the tornadic threat as it moves its way through out of Osage County and into Douglas County. This one moving off to the north and east toward Lawrence from from Lawrence, again, we do have the possible circulation on this storm approaching the city of Lawrence. It is tucked away in the rain. So if you are in especially West Lawrence, southwestern Lawrence, and all of southwestern Douglas County, you need to be in your tornado shelters at this time. As the storm approaches, we do have the tornado warning highlighted in red. It doesn't include the entire city of Lawrence, but it goes from Baldwin City up to the west side of Lawrence. There we are looking at that storm from our Lawrence camera as it comes in out of Osage County, passed over Overbrook. We've got a crew, a couple of crews in that vicinity. Obviously, we've been showing you the ground camera that we have near Overbrook. All of this moving up toward Lawrence, and you can definitely see an intense thunderstorm moving across southwestern Douglas County at this time as it moves into areas near perhaps the south end of Lawrence. I'll have to watch this extremely closely as a fairly large population out ahead of this storm and several rural residences in the path of it before it reaches there as well. So again, the storm east of Overbrook, we have a view looking at it southwest of Lawrence on the left-hand side of your screen. We've been watching the storm as it comes through from our Overbrook camera as well. Now tucked away very much deeply into the rainfall from this storm as well. That one completely now shrouded in rain from that view. The notched part of the storm often is where we look at for the actual rotation. On this particular one, the rotation is tucked in just a little bit farther to the east, farther from the west. The rain is a little bit farther east, but that is a tight circulation showing up in the area just to the southwest of Lawrence. You can see it right there. Possible tornado crossing US 56 east of the Douglas County line by about 2 miles. So travel along 56 is obviously too dangerous to be done at this time, but that possible tornado would be located right where you see that green and pink, kind of right next to each other. That circulation, here you've got Lawrence onto the north and east, moving right up in that general vicinity. And so east of Overbrook, we do have the view there. As you can see, actually a little bit south and east of Overbrook from that camera view, you can see where we have this. The circulation is well east of town. That's a view, and the rain farther to the west. Passed by, couldn't really see the circulation from it, but this is a view from Lawrence, looking off to the south and west across town. And you can see as the storm approaches, we are first looking through the rain. As the rain moves on through, we may get a little bit view. We'll eventually turn the camera just slightly to the right on the Lawrence camera, and we'll get a little better view, just slightly. I think as it comes out, we'll see more to the west-southwest as it approaches, because what we're looking at on this particular cell, here's Overbrook, here's the southwestern Douglas County line. There's that possibility of a tornado. We're looking back through the rain at that storm, and until the rain passes on past us, we're really not going to get a good, clear view of it. And even that, we may have a difficult time seeing it as well, because that is completely stuck right in the middle of the rain on this one. So again, here from this storm, there's Lawrence. Here's where the storm is. And actually, I'll put the kind of the combined view of it on there as well on our scope. And you can see right in the middle of the rain, that's where we have that rotation. So looking from Lawrence, heavily raining, there's your area of rotation right there. So this one, if you are in Lawrence, especially on the south end of town, take your tornado shelter immediately as the storm is moving very quickly to the north and east, kind of an east-northeast path. Give you an idea, past south of Osage City, past northwest of Linden, past just south of Overbrook. You draw that line and extend it on through, it's headed toward Lawrence. So if you're in Lawrence, you need to be taking tornado shelter right now, as the storm has the capability of producing a tornado. If you've got any interest in Lawrence and heading to the east, you may want to hold off and not head that way at this time. If you can get a hold of anybody who might be en route along the turnpike, even though it's very heavily raining, we don't want you, you're actually not in a dangerous situation closer to the Topeka side of things on the western side of Douglas County. If you could pull over, if you can get in touch with anyone, if they can stop at the Topeka rest area, that'd be a good location to stop. Obviously, they've got underground sheltering at the rest area on the turnpike anyway. So that'd be a good stopping point. Try not to head any farther east. Let the storm pass on by. If you are in Lawrence, obviously the storm is going to come right over toward you, and so you need to be in a tornado shelter as the storm approaches the Lawrence area. Anybody who is out and about, always good to have this available to you, or if you're taking shelter, Make sure you have our KSNT mobile app. You can watch our live stream on that one. You can also get warning information by the KSNT Storm Track weather app. So the news app will allow you for the live stream of coverage, and the weather app will keep you updated on all of the information you need. Make sure you've got those on your phone with you. Again, the circulation continues to move toward Lawrence. We have a dangerous situation in southwestern Douglas County. Showing up right there is that bright area headed toward Lawrence of a possible tornado on this storm. So that is the view there. Kind of push this off to the side so we can get a time of arrival located on it. There's our view out of Lawrence as we do this track. Actually, let me zoom out just a little bit more so we can get the full view of it. One of the things that we're watching on this storm as it moves to the north and east pretty quickly, I actually have to zoom out a little fair distance away from this one just so we can get the full time of arrival on this particular storm. So we'll take this, keeping that direction it's been moving east-northeast at about, we'll go about 45 miles per hour, seems to be about the movement on it. That puts it toward Lawrence at 6:19, so 15, 20 minutes tops, and it'll be into Lawrence. And some indication it might be moving a little bit faster than that. So this is, this time, if not a little sooner, Clinton State Park by 6:11. So on the southwest part of Lawrence, it could easily be there by 6:10. And so 10 minutes into Lawrence. 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes from now, it's passing downtown Lawrence. So again, this is the area of circulation headed toward Lawrence, headed on from there to the north and east toward Leavenworth as it moves eventually out of our coverage area. But we'll continue to hold on that. It is just southeast of Topeka. It is not going to affect the city of Topeka other than the heavy rain, which has prompted the flash flood warnings. The severe thunderstorm itself is produced a possible tornado with this, and that's why the tornado warning includes the southwestern part of Douglas County. Let's actually clear that off and move the camera back around just a little bit on this one. See the whole view of it. That's the section of the storm that is under a tornado warning. Farther to the west, we've got flash flood warnings over Shawnee County. We've got flash flood warnings over central and western Osage County, central and eastern Lyon counties, but a tornado warning that is about to expire in Osage County. The circulation is past Osage County at this time. So in Overbrook, you're in the clear from the tornadic circulation right now. You are not, though, if you are in Lawrence. This storm has a definite circulation. It is not a concern any longer for Franklin County. They've been dropped from this. It is just Douglas County until 6:30. Southwestern Douglas County headed up toward West Lawrence, and especially in the southern end of Lawrence, that is where the circulation will be most likely to move into. And so we've got the camera there in Lawrence. We'll be watching that very closely as that storm approaches across southern, right now tucked away in the rain, southern Douglas County. That is where the circulation is showing up at this time. So right there, you can see that really bright, just jumps off the screen at you. That's what we're looking at on the other side of the screen over there, is looking back at that storm, looking for any sign of what may be a tornadic circulation south and west of the city of Lawrence at this time. Take a little closer view of that circulation. Kind of show you where it is, not only with respect to Lawrence, but also perhaps a little bit with respect to US 56. It is coming in about now 2 miles north of 56. It is still on a beeline. Here's Clinton Lake right here. And so it is about to move closer and closer toward Clinton Lake. Here's your South Lawrence Trafficway right here, the K10 on the south west side of town. So from 6th Street at K10, US 40, all the way down past Bob Billings Parkway, down toward the 27th Street area, and then eventually over toward Iowa on K10. That is where we're looking at this kind of danger zone coming into the southwestern part of Lawrence. So that is looking off in that direction on that camera over there. There's our view of it on radar, the other side of the screen, the view as it approaches. Again, tornado warning in effect. Includes southwestern Lawrence. It includes southern Douglas County. There's a look at the area of concern right there. Until 6:30, Douglas County, including all of that area along K10 on the southwest side of town. And then from 59 from Iowa Street in Lawrence on the southern end from about 33rd in Iowa southward under that tornado warning. That does include Baldwin City as well. So this entire region under the tornado warning for Douglas County at this time. This will move off to the north and east. Heavy rain may move in ahead of time as well, but obviously we do have a significant circulation there on this one. Tornado warning in effect for this portion of the storm. A lot of lightning has been accompanied with that. We've been seeing a lot of that on our display over there. Just tremendous amount of lightning with this. In addition to that, we also have the hail threat. The hail threat on this, pretty significant right over the southeastern corner of Shawnee County and the west side of Douglas County, starting to get up to 2-inch diameter hailstones on this storm as well. And as we look at this, again, let's look at the debris signature and see if it's showing up anything at this time. Not really showing up. It'd be in this region right here. We're looking for a bluer shade. The blue or the yellow and green's not the greatest to see, but when we get into the blue, we start to get a little bit more concerned with that. But we aren't seeing that showing up too much at this time. But it doesn't mean we don't have a tornado, because we have everything else circulating in this. It's just not radar detected from that particular view. Where we are seeing the radar detection of it, though, is on this particular view right here, where you can see that tight circulation right here in southwestern Douglas County, headed toward Lawrence. Hopefully it is just an up-in-the-air circulation that does not touch down. That looks a little bit more ominous. Notice that little pinpoint location right there, or two. We may get a couple different circulations trying to get organized out of that storm as it moves across Douglas County. So, again, the southern end of Lawrence, taking where it crossed over right here, following that line, puts it right very, very close to the southern end of Lawrence. The farther north you head through Lawrence, the lower the probability that the storm is headed, at least the tornadic circulation is headed your way. So if you are in South Lawrence right now, you need to be in tornado shelter right now. If you know anyone who might be following this as well online, or could follow us online and needs the information, or if you've got us over the air in Lawrence, make sure you get into your tornado shelters right now as the storm moves toward the Lawrence area with the possibility of a tornado on the ground. Meteorologist David, George, what's the latest we're getting in?
Well, there's not too many hail reports just yet, but certainly indicated by radar there's that possibility. It looks like the rotation's intensifying around the communities of Globe and Lone Star, and approaching the Clinton Lake area and that southwest corner of Lawrence in the immediate future here. And so it looks like it's going to kind of slide maybe on the southern edge of town, and that's the biggest concern for Lawrence right now. And then, of course, numerous areas under flood warnings. The rainfall rate is incredibly heavy. Most spots getting anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain in as little as 30 minutes, Matt.
All right, yeah. You know, the radar view here is pretty intense as far as that really very, very close proximity of the bright green and the bright red, kind of pinkish color. That is an indication of a tight swirling motion. And across that, the radar view, though, is coming from Alma. And so it isn't shooting right along the exact surface. It is shooting up into the air just a little bit. And because of that, it is possible that we are skimming on the kind of the circulation within the storm cloud. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not coming to the ground, but we hope that the circulation, it's certainly circulating in the cloud. That is an absolute. We're hoping that it stays that way, because this is an ominous look on radar. Again, Clinton Lake area, especially in the southern end of the lake and the southern end of Lawrence itself, certainly under the gun with this storm. As you see on the left-hand side of your screen, that is a look back at that storm as we continue to watch it move in. It is going to be shrouded in rainfall, as this is an area very heavily raining. It's what we call a rain-wrapped circulation. We've had crews along US 56, and I believe here shortly we'll hopefully try to get back in touch with Kyle Soldani. He's in Storm Track Team number 2. He has been east of Overbrook on this storm. We also have had Storm Track Team number 3 with Dylan Kaloran on this, and Storm Track Team number 1 with Christina Reese, all following this storm at different times, watching this, and every single one of them have said, you can look right into the storm and you just can't see through the rain. It is so rain wrapped and difficult to make out any good structure out of this thunderstorm. Let's take the Lawrence camera full, though. I want to look at one thing and see it a little bit larger if we can. I'm seeing some sort of darkening which showing up beyond the edge there. The only thing I just want to point out, I think we need to watch whatever this darkening color is right here. This would put it back in that portion of the county. We need to watch that to see if that is something more to it than that. At this point, can't say with any kind of certainty. It's an area of concern as it makes its way closer and closer toward Lawrence. David?
Okay, Matt, the tornado warning for Osage County has been allowed to expire, still continuing in Douglas County, as you mentioned now, for a little bit longer. Now we're getting reports of out in Norway. This is a totally different storm, Matt. This is the cloud and Republic County line that a funnel cloud has been reported, again, 19 miles west-southwest of Norway. So we are getting additional development even farther west and southwest than the storms that we're tracking right now.
Yeah, and I'll kind of show you while we're looking at that one. We've got this one. Again, stay in your tornado shelter if you are in the Lawrence area. But the storm that David was talking about south and west of Norway is this storm here. We're going to watch that one as well as a few more cells that are developing through central Kansas at this time. Those are also intensifying, and they've had warnings on those as well. So we'll take a look at that as we look at the storms over here. This one has had tornado warnings on it north of Beloit near Mankato, moving to the east. So we'll keep an eye on this, and as soon as it impacts Republican Cloud County, we will be letting you know. So we want to make sure we give you a heads up. We know about those storms. We are keeping an eye on those as well as they make their way closer and closer to our northwestern counties. So that storm has obviously a lot to be concerned about on that one. The other storms developing south of Lincoln County into the south and west, and then farther to the east we have these storms. So kind of a large break in between. We'll watch for any development in between, but right now the big concern is with that cell, which is currently entering in toward the Lawrence area. Right now you can see just to the southwest of town, tight circulation embedded within the rainfall on this storm. You can see it looking from our Lawrence camera. I don't like the look at that at all. That looks like a very telltale sign on radar of a tornadic circulation just southwest of Lawrence. And the motion of it would take it maybe just a couple miles south of town, but not by much. And that may end up having it come through the southeastern corner of town. And of course, there are all those new areas of development east of 59 along K10, along that new stretch of K10. Those are the areas really under the gun, right near K10 and Iowa Street, and to the east from there. That might be the most concerned area with that, as that tight circulation showing up very bright, what we call shear right next to each other. That is a indication on radar of a possible tornado right there, very clearly defined southwest of Lawrence at this time. David?
Matt, we have KSNT crews all over the place covering this storm approaching Lawrence. We have Team 3 almost in the Lawrence area right now. We have Christina Reese moving northbound from Pomona. She's on the south side of this. Jace Mills is in Tecumseh. He's moving east behind the storm. So our crews are surrounding this should anything happen.
All right, and we do have Jace Mills on the phone. Jace, in the Tecumseh area, kind of coming along the north side of the storm system. We've been watching it from the south. See if we can get any kind of different vantage point from someone to the north of it. Jace, are you able to see anything, or just the rain like they've been seeing on the other side?
Yeah, we are on I-470 east, kind of just past Topeka, more closer on the way to Lawrence. You know, a little more rain, a little spottier on the rain, but dark clouds, obviously, as we head closer to Douglas County. And that's really what we're seeing right now, Matt.
All right. So thanks, Jason. Again, there's your circulation showing up well south of K10, but headed generally towards the southern end of Lawrence and for rural areas just outside of Lawrence especially. David, do you have any more updates as well?
Well, we do, Matt. The tornado warning has been extended now in Douglas County until 7 p.m., and there is a confirmed tornado. You talked about how dangerous that rotation looked, and now we are getting a confirmed tornado near Lone Star and on the southern edge of Clinton Lake, moving toward the south side of Lawrence as we speak at roughly 45 miles per hour.
Let's pan the Lawrence camera around. I want to see if we can actually see it. We probably need to look due south now. And I think that circulation has passed over. Let's turn it to the left just a little bit and see if we can see whether or not, here's the leading edge. Stop it right there. There's the leading edge of the heavy rain. So it's going to be in this area right here, tucked into that rain. There's where the tornadic circulation, confirmed tornado on that storm passing over the southern end of Lawrence, but more likely just outside. It's close to Lone Star, southern end of Clinton Lake in Douglas County. But that is where the circulation capable of producing a tornado, confirmed that we have a tornado with it, tucked away into that storm. So what you're looking at, looking straight south out of there, you're looking at this leading edge of the rain right here. That's what you see over on the side of your screen there, and the circulation is just right tucked into that as well. David?
I think we're looking right at it, Matt. It's a confirmed large and dangerous tornado here. There is debris, and this is roughly 1 mile east of Lone Star and toward the Pleasant Grove area. And again, this is moving northeast toward that south part of Lawrence as we speak right now at a very rapid rate, but a confirmed large tornado coming in, and the warning does go until 7 o'clock.
All right, let's go ahead and take a full view of the Lawrence camera and see if we see anything more by just having it up larger. Again, what we're looking at into this storm right now, here is the leading edge of the rainfall with this storm, but tucked it into here, and those flashes of lightning may actually give us a vantage point of it, likely in this area right here. is where we're going to find that large tornado on the ground in Douglas County, south of Lawrence, headed through the southern end of Douglas County. We've got a dangerous situation for areas in the southern part of the county. That may include areas between Lawrence and Baldwin City. I think the Baldwin City area, you're kind of in the path of it in general. However, I think the location of where the tornadic circulation has been showing up, which is just a little bit south of town, that is where we have tornado warnings in effect. Heavy rain pushing on the leading edge of this. Here, where you kind of see it darkening up right here, looking through the rain, it all kind of looks the same except for this area right here. And I believe that's where we're looking at the tornado moving across southern Douglas County, just a little bit to the south and south-southwest out of Lawrence. Confirmed large and dangerous tornado moving through near the city of Lawrence, just south of town though. The circulation is about to move toward US 59. That'll pass about 3 miles south of K10 to give you some vantage point there on this one as it continues to move through. In Douglas County, you need to be in a tornado shelter at this time, especially along and south of K10. You need to be in a tornado shelter from a confirmed large and dangerous tornado. Here's where the location of K10 is. You can see off on the side there. Put that again, we'll show you where we're looking at the circulation. There's your large tornadic circulation. The storm, we've been watching it since it first started to spin up what was probably brief tornadoes or attempts at tornadoes and funnel clouds all along its path from east of Emporia, crossed over just outside of Reading, passed over just between Osage and Linden, continued to move on past just south of Overbrook, and now it has been crossing across Douglas County into the southwest corner of the city of Lawrence, just south of K10, along and near Clinton Lake on the east side of the lake. There you can see, I believe we're seeing a little bit better view of what may be the tornado on the left-hand side of the screen there. So we've got Dylan Kaloran. He is en route to this one as well. Dylan, what do you have?
Now we got a very large tornado, a large wedge tornado southwest of Lawrence. I am at N1000 Road, 1100 Road, just south of Lawrence, just south of Highway 10. Very, very large and dangerous tornado coming into this. It's going to be coming in just south of Highway 10, Matt.
Yeah, that's what we've got it up on the screen right now, too. We can see that. Here's your large and dangerous tornado that Dylan's been talking about. It's a very large tornado. It is on the ground. This is a fairly populated Douglas County area, so this is not far outside the city of Lawrence. You can see it passing. This is zoomed in a little bit, well beyond the actual city, but you can see all that circulation showing up right there. Large tornado on the ground south of Lawrence right now. This is a very dangerous situation for areas just south of K10. You can see that circulation as it passes just beyond the buildings here on the hill. That will continue to move just on the southern end of the county. It may pass just barely outside of the city of Lawrence, but not by much. It is going to pass very close to K10 and 59, likely just a couple miles south of that intersection is where it's crossing right now. This is an extremely dangerous tornado. You need to be in shelters in Baldwin City, and all of southern Lawrence stay in tornado shelter. This tornado is on the ground. It is moving to the east and slightly to the northeast. It is a large tornado, and conditions have become very favorable for rotation. We also have additional storms in north central Kansas that we're going to be watching as well, as they too have the capability of large and dangerous tornadoes. You can see this one moving very steadily to the east. Let's zoom out the Lawrence camera just slightly and pan it just very slightly to the left. We are going to have some flagpoles that are going to be in the way here. But as we should have enough view of it as it passes there, well south of the city. We can stop it right about there. That'll give us some time to watch it. So there's our circulation, the tornadic circulation within that storm. Large and dangerous tornado on the ground south of Lawrence, moving to the east, northeast, into areas that'll pass a little bit north of Baldwin City. So very unfortunate situation right now in Douglas County, as there it is right there on K10. South of K10 on 59, just south of K10, as I mentioned, by about a mile or two. This is about to cross K10 east over that new section of the South Lawrence Traffic Way. That is where this is going to be passing over. So we'll put a little closer view of that, give you some idea where we're looking at. So this will be over toward K10 and maybe 1900 Road, eventually kind of passing over. Here's the southern end of this. Not too far from Broken Arrow Park on the southern end of Lawrence. This is a dangerous, dangerous storm. Very, very close to some heavily populated areas on the southeastern side here as you get over to the Baker Wetlands, and just to the north of there you've got, I believe there's a middle school located up here. Get the name wrong if I try to remember it off the top of my head, but I believe it may be South Middle, but that's the one that is moving up. There's that South Middle School over in that area. Okay, so it's moving up in that general direction, just north and east of there. So if you are in that vicinity of Lawrence along K10, you need to be in a tornado shelter. We do have a debris ball showing up on radar. So let's switch over to that. This is where we're getting the view here. There's that blue. We did not want to see that. That is a confirmed tornado right there on just south of K10. Moving along there, there's a view right there from Kansas City's got their helicopter out. There's your large and dangerous tornado just barely south of K10 and Iowa Street. If you know that section, that's a heavily populated area of Lawrence, but barely missing the really heavily built up area by about a mile. Again, this is a shot of one of the trackers that are out from the Kansas City area. They're watching this dangerous tornado, large tornado on the ground in Douglas County. And so this one is what we've been afraid was going to happen out of it. We don't know how much of Osage County missed out on it. I will say this looks a lot worse on radar now than it did there. Again, that's a view from some of the Kansas City guys that are watching that one. They are watching that as it heads toward the Kansas City area with time. But there's your tornado on the ground. Here's Iowa Street, K10 and US 59, passed over 59, paralleling just barely to the south of K10. Take a look at it again from our Lawrence camera, and you can see the Lawrence view there as they're driving down the road. That is watching this from K10. Circulation on the ground right there. Here's another view of it. There you've got that tight circulation. This is the helicopter view as they're watching it as well as it moves in toward Lawrence. This is an extremely dangerous situation as it starts to exit out of eventually our coverage area. We've got Eudora in the way, Linwood in the way of this, and eventually the west side of the Kansas City metro will be in the way of this as well. If this thing doesn't lift, we're going to have a significant damaging tornado, as this is a large and dangerous tornado on the ground south of Lawrence. But
you can see it has now emerged quite a bit like
you can see it. You can see that very intense storm as it moves across southern Douglas County. It is kind of tucked right into the edge of the rainfall there, but that storm has a definite signature on radar of significant rotation, but also obviously, unfortunately, a confirmed large and dangerous tornado on the ground just to the south-southeast of the city of Lawrence, but crossing into the southern part of Lawrence. David?
Matt, it does look like that south and southeast corner is the big concern right now. We do have crews. We're going to have Jace Mills. He's looping on the backside of this to kind of give us any kind of debris or damage reports coming up. We have Christina Reese working her way north but staying out of harm's way to do the same exact thing. And then we also have another storm. It's the tornado warning out in Republic County now until 6:20. It looks like a tornado is confirmed now just northeast of Randall.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's go back to a side-by-side. We're going to watch this storm for you in Lawrence. We do need to make sure we've got our northwestern counties covered as well. So now that that tornado warning has moved in toward the Republic County area, I'm going to take a couple views here. I'll show this on Max Track Radar. Again, here's the storm, heavily raining. So what you're seeing over there, it's embedded within the rain. That's where the tornadic circulation is on this. These storms moving away to the east, kind of catching a break for a little while. We've got intense storms forming southwest of Wichita. And this storm, which is going to be moving in toward Republic County, but also very close to areas of Cloud County on this one. Let's take actually a closer view of this one right here with that feature. That storm south right there, you can see that almost like a donut hole shape there. It looks like that one could also have a pretty intense circulation with this one. You can see right there, confirmed tornado just northwest of Jamestown, southwest of Cortland. That one is also a very dangerous storm. On this particular one, we have a tornado warning for this one. That does include, right now, Republic County. We have another storm coming in out of Glen Elder that has prompted the Jewell and Mitchell County warnings as well. So this is going to continue for a little while longer on our northwestern counties as we have several areas of concern. One, this circulation, the one near Glen Elder, also a possible tornado on that storm. And then again, the concern with what you've seen on the left-hand side of your screen is the tornado warning on this storm. It is confirmed we've had a large and dangerous tornado crossing over the southern part of the city of Lawrence and just to the southeast of town, but may cross K10 just about the 1900 road area. Then eventually, as it moves up, this will move on to the north and east from there toward Eudora and Linwood. David.
Matt, we're also going to give you a shot of our Lawrence weather cam as we're tracking this catastrophic situation perhaps on the south and southeast corner of Lawrence. A really strong inflow, it looks like, Matt, as we were picking this up just a moment ago on the left side of the screen, and you can see how that wind is rapidly surging into that tornado. Yeah,
that storm is just intense, no matter how you look at it. And folks in Osage County know when it came through, it was a rough thunderstorm, but it has gotten worse now that it is in Douglas County. This is an extremely dangerous situation for southeast Lawrence right now and areas to the anywhere between Lawrence and Baldwin City. Tornado warning is in effect for this area. This is a large, damaging, confirmed tornado. It is so hard to see into the rain there, but it is tucked away into that rain where you see all of that obscurity in that rain. There is inside of that a large and damaging tornado that has been showing up on radar. Let's take a look if we can over here just so I can see it while we keep that up on the screen. Andrew, if you'll pull up just the view of the debris. I just want to see if it's still showing up there. So here we have, there's the view over there. I'll pull it up on this one actually over here. So what we want to do, take a close look first of all at this thunderstorm. I want to see if we can get a location on it just to make sure that it hasn't crossed over K10 at this time. The circulation is awfully close. Put the look at the debris on here. First of all, see if it's still on there. It is. It's right on K10. That puts it crossing K10 right now. That blob right there, that is the tornado, most likely on the signature of it, moving right along K10 as it approaches. 23rd Street and K10 would be a little bit farther to the east here. I believe is 1900 Road in K10. That is a tornado on K10. Right now, a large and damaging tornado in southeast Lawrence right now. So that is an extremely dangerous situation in the Lawrence area. This one is unfortunately, it's just going to be a sad situation of what's happening right now in the southeastern corner of Lawrence. We have a very dangerous tornado on the ground, on the highway at that, moving right through. So again, travel K10 between Lawrence and Eudora, cannot do it. Should not do it. If you know anybody who typically takes that drive at this time of day, maybe heading in and out of the Kansas City area and uses K10, or if you know anyone who'd be traveling that way, make sure there is zero travel between Eudora and Lawrence on K10. There needs to be a complete clearing of the highway, as that is it's going to follow the path of the highway for a little ways, just a little bit, and I'll kind of pan that over so you can see where I'm talking about. At the same time, we need to be getting into tornado shelters over the Cortland area of southwestern Republic County, as well as making sure that we get into tornado shelters at this time over into maybe the northwestern corner of Cloud County. It needs to be watched. It's so close to the county line. It's technically not in Jamestown, but look, that is a tornado right there on K10 that'll be approaching Eudora or some of the areas between Eudora and Tonganoxie as it continues to approach the Douglas and Leavenworth County line. Eventually, this will make its way out of our viewing area, and our attention will turn more and more to the west as the storm continues to move across the southern and southeastern corner of the city of Lawrence. It has, fortunately, missed the most heavily populated area of Lawrence, but that does not mean it missed everything. That tornado likely did damage. There are plenty of farms and homes just outside of Lawrence to the south and to the southeast, and hopefully word was gotten to everybody in the path of that. We have another tornado west of Norway, southwest of Scandia. That is just to the north of Jamestown. We have another confirmed tornado on that storm as well. We've got that one pulled up on our max track radar on max 2, but let's just go to max 1 if we can. I want to take a look at that. We can go side by side as we continue to watch it. There's the tornado you're looking at. It looks like it's maybe opening up just a little bit on the circulation. Let's hope that happens as it approaches Eudora. But I don't want to miss out on what's also happening in our northwestern counties with this next group of storms that are making their way in. We'll take a close look at this storm just to the northwest of Concordia, just to the north of Jamestown. So here's Jamestown. There is most likely another confirmed tornado between Cortland and Jamestown. That is the one that we had confirmation on it, and it looks just as bad. So you're looking at two different storms. The one over there is the Douglas County storm. This is Republic and Cloud County. Here's Concordia. Here's Jamestown. And just north of Jamestown, moving, you've got Scandia, Belleville, and Norway right here. So this is going to be moving through Republic County right now. What looks to be another tornado very likely on the ground with this storm. This will be moving across southern areas of Republic County, and if it holds together, you've got Washington County in the path of this one as well. So very dangerous situation across north central Kansas with storms there. Also over northeastern Kansas right now in Douglas County, as you can see on the other side of your screen. But a tornado warning north of Jamestown, between Jamestown and Cortland. Dangerous tornado on the ground likely. Do we have confirmed report of that one, David, as of late? Still confirmed? Confirmed on the ground between Jamestown and Cortland, moving across southern Republic County. Do we have see if we can get if you can, just let me know what the speed of motion is on that. I'd like to do a little bit of a time of arrival since this one is just starting to move into the area. We'll get that one. There's a look at the storm. As you can see it west of Norway. See that kind of blob of yellow and green showing up there south of Cortland, west of Norway. That is an indication on radar of debris being lofted into the thunderstorm. If we go back to Max 1, we can see the storm, same location. This particular one will show you the circulation as it moves from west to east over southern areas of Republic County. This particular cell of it is right there. Kind of pan this over to the side, and I'll put a time of arrival on this one as well. Coming to the north of Concordia, we'll put a track on that one. Is it moving more east on that one? Probably east at about, I'm going to put it east at 45. Let me know if it's not moving in that time. This would put it into Scandia by 6:34, Belleville by 6:45, Haddam by 7:02, and Washington by 7:25. So kind of gives you an idea. You need to be watching this in Washington County as well. It is moving across Republic County, skimming just north of the Cloud County line, headed toward Washington County as well as this storm. Looks like what may have happened, and we'll see where the actual warm front is located. The warm front may have lifted all the way north. This one may be riding right along that warm front as it moves across our northern counties. David?
Matt, you are correct. It is moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. It is really close to the Cortland area as we speak. Again, we do have teams over toward the Lawrence area staying out of harm's way. Jace Mills is on the backside. Roughly Highway 10 and 59 where damage is being reported. So he's going to try to get us a shot there momentarily. And we still have meteorologist Christina Reese heading up from the south. That tornado is just outside of Eudora right now, approaching the Fall Leaf area in the Kansas River.
All right, so yeah, this is a extremely dangerous situation still ongoing. We'll get back to the other storm as well, but I don't want what you're seeing on the side of your screen give you some reference to where you're looking at here. This is this circulation right along and just north of K10, very, very close right now to Eudora. Here you've got Eudora. This is just to the north and west of town. Eudora, we'll see, kind of get a street level view there to see if it's going to actually, it's going to be right near Fall Leaf, right along the river as it crosses through there. You know where the river, the road coming in from the Tonganoxie exit heads south right into Eudora. There's that kind of low flatland just north of the river there. And it looks like it's going to move right through that area just on the north side of town. So you've got just north and west of the city of Eudora. Eudora, the circulation is so close, but it may miss the city of Eudora and be more of a concern for some of the residences to the west and northwest of town as it continues to move on into southern, eventually Leavenworth County, moving on up to the north of Eudora. Very dangerous situation, as you can see from the camera view there as they're watching that. It's no longer really as much in Lawrence as it is in Eudora. This is a view. So here's Eudora. There's to the north and west. Here's K10 that goes right along the south side of the city of Eudora. There's your storm right along the Kansas River as it moves its way across to the north and east into Leavenworth County, crossing the Kansas River. And I always point these out when this happens. I don't know how many times I've had people tell me tornadoes can't cross rivers. That is not true. There is nothing about a body of water. We've had it cross a couple of years back right into Wamego. We had one. We've had them cross rivers many times. It's kind of like one of those things that just gets perpetuated. But this tornado may cross or even skirt right along the Kansas River for a while. This is a dangerous storm, has had a history of large tornado being reported with it. A very clear debris signature right at the Kansas River right now. As it crosses over into southern Leavenworth County, tornado warnings are in effect there. You can see the warnings include southern Leavenworth County as well as Douglas County, and it has been extended farther to the east as well on this storm. So this one is going to be one that produces a significant amount of damage as it approaches maybe DeSoto and the Linwood area, more likely kind of northwest of DeSoto near Linwood. And eventually, if it continues on, you've got Bonner Springs just now being added to that tornado warning as it continues on into Wyandotte County. This will pass north and west of Olathe, north and west of Overland Park, but it is headed toward Kansas City, Kansas. So this one is a dangerous situation. We have literally millions of people out ahead of this storm, just anxiously waiting to see where the storm finally weakens, if it can. We have a dangerous confirmed tornado near Eudora, moving toward Bonner Springs and DeSoto. It is continuing to move on to the north and east from there. We, in addition to that, have other warnings in effect. As you see, we've got flash flood warnings here from Shawnee County southward toward the Emporia area. We've got a severe thunderstorm down near Wichita that needs to be watched. It will move into a very favorable area for storm rotation as well. That'll have plenty of time that it may become a problem for us as well. And then, of course, to the north and to the west, we have these tornado warnings for Republic County as well as Jewell and Mitchell counties. This one is for a storm that is producing a confirmed tornado in southwestern southwestern Republic County, just between Cortland and Norway. A dangerous situation. Tornado likely on the ground still with that thunderstorm. Not only do we see it on the view there, we've been seeing it occasionally showing up in this yellowish area right here, showing debris being lofted into that thunderstorm from this. This is southwest of Belleville as that storm moves across Republic County. So numerous issues with this in the sense of we have warnings that are in effect from there all across north central Kansas. We have storms that are going to be watching here. So we'll keep you updated on all of these. The tornado warnings continue for Republic, Jewell, and Mitchell counties. And of course, to the east, we have Douglas. We've got Leavenworth and portions of Wyandotte and northwestern Johnson County under tornado warnings as well. Meteorologist Andrew Adams in the studio with me as well. Andrew, what do you have?
Thanks, Matt. Just got an email from KSNT reporter Hannah Brandt. She's out with Christina Reese on the storm tracker. They're driving outside of Lawrence. This shot is south of Lawrence on Highway 56, where they say the tornado had crossed the highway. That's a semi-trailer that has been completely taken out and lost its bearings. So that's certainly one of the things that we're dealing with this situation as it continues on. It's a very strong tornado.
All right, Andrew, thank you. And that would be between K10 and 56 off of 59, where that was located. And so that puts it just on the south end of Lawrence as it crossed over 59. Here's that storm as it moves north of Eudora, headed toward Kansas City. You know, so many of us are so connected with each other and so much of this area, and we all know people in all these locations. You may have family members over on the west side of Kansas City. So we're going to keep with this storm, but we also have to keep with these storms anyway because part of our viewing area also going under tornado warnings to the north and west. But this storm is absolutely just a devastating situation, likely occurring in areas of Douglas and now Leavenworth counties as well, headed toward the Kansas City area. Very, very dangerous situation. If it stays like it is and moves into the highly populated west side of the Kansas City metro, this is going to be a devastating blow. So let's hope that it can lift. It has not shown signs that it's going to do so. It has been rotating since it just came out of Emporia, and it has made its way all the way up now into the Eudora area, with the tornado just passing to the north of Eudora. You can see as the storm, you look back at it, here's K10 in the foreground, and it's well north of K10 now, moving toward Linwood and DeSoto. And so that's this storm over here. We also have the storm just north of Concordia, also with a tornado warning on that one as well. That storm, let's go back into the closer view there. That storm in the northwestern counties has had a confirmed tornado on it as well over Republic County. And then Jewell and Mitchell County, we've got a tornado warning there. The Douglas County tornado warning goes until 7 o'clock. It will likely just continue on to the east from there over Leavenworth County as well. We're getting also flash flood warnings still for the northern counties and the central counties. Do we have an update, David, on any new reports coming in from the storm, either the west or the northeastern one?
Well, I tell you what, Matt, the problem out west is that the sky has been clear and everything is incredibly unstable out toward Junction City and Clay Center. They've had nothing but sunshine for hours on end, and so these cells are intensifying. They're also becoming more numerous, and so they extend all the way from Republic County all the way down southwest to almost I-70, and these are going to clip our northwest counties now for a couple of hours, it looks like, with the present movement and the continued development out that way. Again, we got the one approaching, going from Eudora, probably in line to hit Tonganoxie in the Leavenworth area, but what's happening out west is certainly a concern as it continues to grow and blossom in that particular region.
If you guys can, I can't do it from over here. If you can just put a loop on this and on the radar view, we'll get that one kind of showing you the motion of this. This one back over here coming in from the west, kind of moving almost east, slightly north of due east. And again, you've got Washington County in line for that one. These storms are moving east-northeast as well, but they're headed right toward the west side of Kansas City, perhaps toward more toward Wyandotte County, may clip northwestern Johnson County as that one moves on through. And then we have additional thunderstorms that'll be ongoing over areas that are just kind of slide the view down here on the radar. Keep that loop going, and I'll just pan the camera down. We've got more storms developing around Wichita. Notice their motion is to the north and east. So we're not done with these just yet. So one of the things that we're going to be watching for on this one is that all of these producing a lot of lightning with them, the ramping up of lightning near Wichita, as well as in our northwestern counties, the ramping up of some of the lightning on that cell. Good indication of strength with that one, as well as to the east. We have a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes as these kind of three clusters of thunderstorms continue on. What you're looking at on the side of your screen is the storm exiting out of Douglas County into Leavenworth County. A tremendous circulation on that one. I'll do a couple of views. We're going to zoom into both of these. We'll start with the one to the east that you're looking at on the side of your screen as a large and damaging tornado has been tucked away in the rain. Should pass, the worst of it will likely pass just south of Tonganoxie, but it is not going to be too far south of town as it passes between Tonganoxie and Eudora. Still most likely a tornado that is headed toward Bonner Springs. So Bonner Springs very likely could get hit with a tornado if this doesn't move off of its current path, and if it doesn't weaken, it is headed in that general direction. And when we look at the debris signature on there, unfortunately it is still, you can see it right there, that is the tornado south of Tonganoxie, north and west of Lexington, a little bit north and northeast of Eudora right now. That is following. It crossed over the Kansas River, and it is now more into Leavenworth County. At least the circulation appears to be there. We'll zoom back in on this one right here, get you a little bit closer in on where it is with respect to Linwood and DeSoto. You can see here it is right there. You've got, looks like Sherman over here. Up to the north, you've got Linwood, and over on this far corner of your screen, it may be hard to see it right there. It says DeSoto right here. So this is going to pass north of DeSoto near Linwood. Here you've got Interstate 70. All right, now it's becoming a greater and greater concern for traffic along the Kansas Turnpike between Lawrence and the West Kansas City terminal. So again, if you are knowing of anyone and can get a hold of anybody who takes Interstate 70 between Lawrence and Kansas City, there are only a handful of turnoffs. Anywhere between the Tonganoxie exit and over toward 110th Street on the west side of Kansas City, there needs to be no traffic through there. Only mode of shelter, if you know somebody who's along there, let them know that if they stop at the toll booths, they can get underground at the toll booths. There are underground shelters at the toll booth at the east end of the Kansas Turnpike, and this would be headed in that very direction. So if anybody is stuck out on Interstate 70, make sure if you can get a hold of them by phone, they do not get into an underground or into an overpass tucked underneath there. Do not do that. They do not need to get into a ditch. Those things will fill up with water. These have been prolific rain producers. They need to, if they can, get to the toll booths and get into the shelters there, or get off of that road and not make it in that section of there. This is a large and damaging tornado that is passing to the north and east of Eudora now, south of Tonganoxie, and it is moving toward Bonner Springs. So again, keep that in mind. For those areas, we have a dangerous situation moving into a very highly populated area as it crosses southern Leavenworth County. We do need to make sure that we're also getting a good amount of information on this the western storm as well. David, what do you have while I'm zooming in on this one?
Well, the problem is that we are getting damage reports now. We do have reporter and anchor Jace Mills. He's there at the site. He's going to be giving us an update as soon as that shot is ready. We also have 2 other crews in that immediate area, and we're getting reports now that law enforcement out of Lawrence reporting multiple vehicles overturned, a lot of damage. It is all preliminary now, but in that south and southeast side of Lawrence, numerous reports of vehicles overturned and some damage.
All right, unfortunate situation there by sure. There you can see on the side of it. Is that a live picture over in Douglas County right now? Because that looks like the tornado we're seeing right now, just churning its way through southern Leavenworth County, extreme northern Douglas County. That is tremendous. That is a tornado of large magnitude moving across. You can see the circulation just churning across there, moving in closer and closer to the west side of the Kansas City metro. This is a devastating looking tornado by just the look of it. It is confirmed that there's been damage by it. There will be more damage if this does not lift as it heads into more and more neighborhoods on the west side of the Kansas City suburbs. This will first impact areas around Bonner Springs. Bonner Springs is in path for this tornado, headed toward your direction. There, it'll eventually cross near the Bonner Springs area, perhaps along Interstate 70. From there on, again, there needs to be no travel along I-70 heading in toward the Kansas City area as we have a tremendous circulation producing what looks to be a large tornado still on the ground right now as it moves its way through Douglas County and into the west side of the Kansas City metropolitan area. That puts it on K32 near Linwood. So this puts it almost directly over Linwood at this time. And so Linwood is in this tornado. It is moving toward the north and east, kind of east-northeast. This will move along K32, eventually moving up toward Bonner Springs or along I-70 near Bonner Springs. So this is a tremendous danger for travel along the eastern side of the state right now. And this is not the only tornado-producing thunderstorm. Let's head back side by side if we need to, just so we can get back on the radar. This is the other storm. Southwest of Belleville, we have a tight circulation approaching Belleville as it moves through Republic County. We're now in north central Kansas on the other side of the viewing area where we have another storm that is moving through. I'm going to put a time of arrival on this one, if we can, to the north and east. I have to clear that out just a second. All right, so load that back up so I can get there. Do a cone time of arrival here to the east-northeast. We'll put it in. I'm going to have to back out just a little bit. It's not even, this thing is moving so quickly. I need to zoom out just a touch so I can get the full scope of this in there. And once we do, we'll put a time of arrival. So you see on the left-hand side of your screen the devastation that is potential from this thunderstorm as it moves its way closer and closer to the Bonner Springs area. This storm just outside of Belleville, moving to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour, puts it in toward Belleville at 6:53, Cuba by 7:02, Haddam by 7:15, and Washington at 7:32. So Republic County, Washington County needs to watch this storm very, very closely, as we do have a tornado warning in effect in this county as well, up toward Republic County. Tornado warning does include Belleville. That goes until 7 o'clock. It will be determined whether or not it needs to continue on to the east based on the current radar trends on this one. It likely will be. There is still very tight circulation showing up with this storm as it comes through just south of Belleville. Very tight rotation showing up on that storm across central Republic County. Belleville, near and just south of there, needs to be in tornado shelter at this time. All of southern and eastern Republic County needs to be watching the storm very closely, as does our viewers in western Washington County near Haddam and the city of Washington. You need to be watching this very, very closely on that storm. Let's take a look, if we can, out of the kind of the wide view here. I want to see just on radar. I want to take another view of a couple things here. First of all, with this particular storm, you can see it's actually more of an isolated cell on this particular one over Republic County, not quite as large as the cells to the south and east. There are some showers developing across Washington County, more storms developing But then as we head to the south and to the southwest, we have an additional thunderstorm that's been blossoming near Wichita. That particular storm, as we look at where the warnings are indicated, those are moving to more to the northeast. When they become a little bit more rotators, they turn to the north and east even more so. And if that storm continues, it's for Harvey and Sedgwick County for the severe thunderstorm warning. If it continues to strengthen, would head toward Morris County or Lyon County as well. We do have a little bit more information coming in on these storms, both the western one and the eastern one. I'm going to send it back over to David George.
Yeah, Matt, just to give everybody a heads up here, the tornado that was on the south side of Lawrence, there are some homes damaged. We're going to be getting those photos on air. We're also going to be talking with Jace Mills very shortly here as to what he sees. That tornado, again, is between Linwood and Bonner Springs. Now, this is going to stay north of some of those west side communities like Olathe and Lenexa and Overland Park. Those areas not impacted, but a lot of commuters between Kansas City and Topeka. You've got cell phones. Try to get a hold of people, make sure that they are hunkered down and in their safe spot and not trying to drive, getting from place to place. A lot of this happening when families are a bit separated, schools are out and things like that, but it's also always safest to keep everybody in the shelter that they're in and not try to drive around. But we've already had the semi overturned, some homes damaged when this thing hit south of Lawrence around the Pleasant Grove area. So Lone Star, Pleasant Grove, getting up on that south side of Lawrence. It may have done some damage in that Fall Leaf, Eudora area. We don't have reports on that yet, but we have crews surrounding what appears to be a lot of damage in Lawrence, and we'll be bringing that to you very shortly.
All right, thank you, David. One of the things that, as David mentioned, so much, Olathe, Overland Park, Leewood, Lenexa areas, they're well south of this. This is a Bonner Springs and perhaps a Kansas City, Kansas, largely a Wyandotte Legends area. That's all the area that'll be under the very watchful eye of this. This may move up fairly close in time up to the racetrack, the Great Wolf Lodge area, the Legends area, all of that region of the west side of Kansas City, Kansas, as it moves on to the north and to the east. Let's actually do this way. I'll take a view all the way out here. What I want to do on this one, take another view of this storm out to the west. I don't want to do any kind of disservice to Republic County at this time. We're trying to get both of these. We have things going on both ends, kind of bookending our viewing area with two tornadoes, one exiting out over toward the Kansas City area. And of course, locally, it's going to be handled by the Kansas City meteorologist, making sure that their residents stay safe. But we need to make sure, because of the travel issue, that we keep getting that word out to anybody who can get a hold of anybody who might be on those roads. In particular right now, Interstate 70, the Kansas Turnpike between Kansas City and Lawrence. That is really the targeted area. But we also have what looks like a tornado on the ground south of Belleville. David?
Matt, we are getting some updates now from a Kansas City meteorologist. It's Becky Taylor. She's joining us live right here with our KSNT Storm Track coverage. Becky, what are you seeing in that Lawrence area right now?
Hi, we are just to the south and east of Eudora, to the south of Linwood, just across the county line road into Johnson County. There is an extremely large area of heavy rain. That's exactly where the tornado is, and so anybody that's got eyes on this is probably doesn't. I mean, this thing is completely rain wrapped. There's very heavy rain with this. The leading edge of it is actually looks more like a shelf cloud than a wall cloud. It's right to the front of it, right to the front of the storm.
And Becky, what is your plan right now of action? Are you trying to go to Lawrence to see what happened, or are you on the south side of that storm to track it toward the KC Metro itself?
We're on the south side right now, but I think I'm going to go back towards the Eudora area, in between Eudora and Linwood, to kind of see if we can see what happened, really. There's not much that we can see from this point of view, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. With all of this heavy rain, it's going to be almost impossible to see it. So I think we're going to head back and try to see if we cannot, see if there's been any damage.
All right, that's Becky Taylor from Kansas City. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. A lot of you may remember Becky when she was on air with us here in the Topeka area at KSNT. So again, she is out monitoring that storm over in, now it's crossed over, it's moving in toward the Wyandotte County area as well. Let me know where this shot is coming from that we're looking at right here. This is a live view. It looks like somewhat of a signal issue. Wouldn't be surprised if we have a signal issue. If that's moving through an area that was already hit, we'll likely be looking at a difficult time trying to keep any kind of coverage on cell service, but watching for perhaps some damage on that end of it. South of Belleville, Republic County, tornado warning remains in effect there. That one, as we look at where the warnings are located for this one, that is getting nearer and nearer to the end of the warning, both in time as well as in geographical location. As that one moves to the east, we'll see if that one gets extended to the east as well as the tornado threat continues on that one. David?
That is the tornado threat right now. Around the Belleville area, some ping pong sized hailstones, and so we are getting enough vertical lift, and the hail shaft clearly evident right there that Matt is showing you, and that storm continues. There are many more southwest of this with larger hail around that Beloit and Prairie area as well, as these are individual cells that are growing. And now we're looking at a live shot from some of the damage and some of that rainfall that's still coming down.
Yeah, and while we look at this is coming in from Douglas County. I want to tell you the tornado warning was just extended across the remainder of eastern Republic and northwestern Washington County for the storm that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. This tornado will continue to move across from Belleville on over toward Haddam and northwestern areas, maybe near Mahaska as well, into Washington County. What you're seeing on the other side of this is Rod just coming in. The storm tracker is just arriving, and they're getting out of the vehicle, inspecting some of the damage there in Douglas County. We'll try to get a little bit more of a steady shot out of them, but damage, you saw some of that roof damage, a lot of tree damage. There is going to be a lot of damage to be cleaned up over Douglas County as that storm really ramped up. Now we've got our concern with perhaps 2-inch, if not larger, hailstones falling toward the Belleville area. This will be moving toward Washington County as well. Mentioned the tornado warning got extended farther to the east. It includes not quite to the city of Washington, but it includes areas along US 36 all the way into Washington County until 7:30. This is a confirmed tornado on this one, I believe. At least it was at the original issuance of the tornado warning. Is the Washington and Republic County radar indicated, or is it?
It is radar indicated, yeah.
All right, so we don't have a latest confirmation on this particular one, whether or not it's on the ground, but it has had a history of a tornado on this one as well. That moves to the east. We've got additional storms developing farther to the south, approaching western, right now, western Cloud County. Those will need to be watched. This storm south of Belleville has had, at least on radar, indications of debris as well. Maybe not quite as tightly wound up on that one as it was before, but still certainly bears watching, as it is still fairly tightly wound up on that one. At this point, you know, on a typical day, we'd look at this and talk about what a significant rotation that is, but we've seen such strong rotation on some of these tornadoes that this one, while very, very intense, we don't have a confirmation on a tornado at this time. David, I believe, has got some more information. David?
Right now, that cell's still moving northeast at 40. It was confirmed, then it became radar indicated. Again, it does have the larger hailstone, and it's still moving in that same direction, east-northeast at roughly 40 miles per hour.
All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. Keep in mind, tornado warning continues for Washington County as well as Republic County. We can see over in the Lawrence area, you can see behind him, Jace Mills has an update for us. Jace, this is obviously just, you're showing up on the scene. What have you seen so far in Lawrence?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, we're on Highway 59 near North 1000th Road here outside of Lawrence, and obviously damage, as you can see behind me, to homes, pretty significantly to a couple of the homes from our vantage point. We just showed up on the scene probably within the last 15 minutes, so this is all very new to us. And there's damage, more minor damage to other homes in this cul-de-sac. But that's not all that we're seeing. We were told just by someone who stopped that there are other homes damaged, and we'll certainly go to check on that as well. We can't tell you if anybody was hurt or if anybody was inside of these homes at the time. We haven't gotten that information yet. I can tell you, as we were coming in on Highway 59, there was an overturned semi. And obviously this tornado, as it crossed the highway or came into this part of town, did significant damage, and significant damage to a couple of homes, and certainly damage to more homes, as you mentioned earlier in the show. And you can see just some of the destruction left behind by those tornadoes. The roofs are completely gone over at least two of those homes that we can see right now. So pretty significant damage here in Douglas County.
All right, Jace, thank you. And again, just coming on to that, seeing that firsthand, unfortunate thing that we're seeing there in Douglas County. And as mentioned, that was just south of the city of Lawrence right now. We also have tornado warnings up to the north and west. Update coming in as well from David. David?
We still have the structure damages coming in from the tornado that's well off to the east. We have the radar indicated issues out toward Cloud and Republic counties. Those cells moving northeast. There's more development just north of Wichita, and with that movement northeast, that's going to put it probably west of Emporia, Strong City, Cottonwood Falls area in about the next hour's time. The biggest storm that we have seen was down toward Osage City, moving off toward the south side of Lawrence, just outside of Eudora, northwest of DeSoto, heading right toward Bonner Springs, and that will certainly impact a ton of folks over in the Kansas City metro. And as we've tried to stress time and time again, make sure that you're contacting loved ones, make sure that everybody sits tight. This is not one of those to just kind of drive through or do something, but essentially we've got this massive triangle right here with the tornado approaching Kansas City, the strong thunderstorms north of Wichita that look to be intensifying, and then the tornado warnings to the northwest, Matt.
All right, and just so if you're watching on KTKA Channel 49, because this storm is exiting out of the viewing area, the next one is still entering in. We are going to kind of streamline our coverage over to KSNT. And of course, we'll let you know too, as we head into, we're coming up onto the 7 o'clock hour into prime time. We will let you know if we're able to re-air any of the programming that you missed, but we are going to stay on there. We have had, obviously, as you can see, a very dangerous situation so far. We will continue to monitor these storms. We will continue our live weather coverage on KSNT as we continue to head through. Kind of give you a quick little update. This particular storm to the north and west does have a tornado warning on it. This particular one includes Republic and northwestern Washington County. We will continue live coverage of that storm for you, both on KSNT.com on our live stream, but of course on KSNT as well. If you are watching on KTKA, we will, here in about 25 seconds, be returning to regularly scheduled programming on ABC, and you can continue to stay with us on NBC if you would like. As that, we have flash flood warnings across the north, flash flood warnings through the central areas, and you can kind of see it right here at the bottom of the screen. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell coming in out of the Wichita area. So we'll be watching all of those from the northwest, especially, and the storms exiting out to the east. We will return you to your programming on KTKA and continue programming on KSNT. Again, what we have here in Republic County is a tornado warning for that storm as it moves south and east now of south and east of the area right around. You can see the clearing out ahead of it, but this particular kind of isolated cell that is right now in place just to the south and east of the city of Belleville. Take a closer look at that one. And on that particular one, the storm is north of Concordia. It is not going to impact Cloud County. The circulation is east of Belleville. It is a storm that has had a history. Took a couple different looks at the velocity. One in particular right here. You can see that circulation showing up. As that one moves to the east, Haddam is in line for this as it moves into Washington County. May pass just a little bit to the north and west of Washington, but it is on US 36 right now, just east of Belleville. David?
So what's going on, Matt? It looks like in that northwest area, we've talked earlier about how much cooler it was up north. We did even that off air, and it looks like that storm's ingesting a lot of colder air from the north. And if anything, it may be cold air funnels maybe going on up there. It looks like radar indicated, and now it's a severe thunderstorm warning for Cloud and Republic until 7:45.
All right, and that is also going to be for that line of storms, because there's two lines of storms on there. The next line coming in from the west has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning continues for the area, and I suspect right now, if you can, let me know what the temperature and the wind direction is at Concordia. I'd be curious to see that, and also if we can get that out of the Clay Center area to see how much of that warm front has lifted up through there. There's a front that was situated just south of Clay Center earlier. If it is lifted up there, that storm may be riding right along that warm front across US 36 or near it, enough so that they may help the rotation. As David was mentioning, if it gets onto the colder side of the front, could still get some funnels out of it, but they'll have a harder time reaching the ground, and we call those cold air funnels because they've got cold air they would have to penetrate down through. Now, as of right now, what we're seeing on this particular storm looks like the temperature is sitting at 70 at Concordia and 66 over in Washington, but it is 82 at Clay Center. So we definitely have this riding right along the warm front, and that's what makes this particular storm also of concern because it is right on the boundary. The storms back behind it are lined up kind of more in a line across western Cloud County, western Republic County, but it's this storm right here, which is moving farther to the east. I'll be honest, it doesn't look quite on radar as isolated and individualized, but it is still showing tight circulation. We'll see how long it can hold that look as it moves to the east toward the area around Haddam. This is a storm that definitely bears watching. We have a storm capable of producing a tornado. Earlier did produce a tornado on that particular one, and we'll put a track on this particular storm as well. This will likely stay for quite a while in the on the Kansas side of the state line as it moves to the east and maybe a little bit to the northeast at about 40. We'll put it at about 42 miles per hour. Puts it to Haddam by 7:18 and Washington by 7:37. If it holds on that path, it would actually pass more toward Haddam and then north of Washington, maybe toward the Hanover area. You've also got Mahaska, which might pass just a little bit south of Mahaska as it moves to the east and northeast, crossing K15 north and east of the Haddam area. So those are the areas of northwestern Washington County that are under the tornado warning that you need to be watching for very closely on that storm as well. Haddam, Mahaska, under that tornado warning, Hanover, and then on toward the Washington, north of Washington to the Hollenberg area, all under those kind of threat areas as that storm near and east of Belleville continues to move to the east and to the northeast as well. I'd be interested too, we might want to try to take a look at, just from a vantage point, it's a long way away just for the cloud structure purpose. If we can look to the northwest out of Manhattan here shortly when we get the camera swung in that direction, just to see, because one of the things that we've noticed on this storm is the kind of isolated nature to that particular thunderstorm out ahead of it. And so we don't have a lot kind of impeding our view to it. Here's where the circulation would be on this particular storm. And you can see it right here, right on the leading edge. So this one might have a little bit more visibility as it continues to move across US 36, approaching the Haddam area, Mahaska to Haddam into eastern Republic County, east of Belleville, need to be in tornado shelter. It'll pass north of Agenda. Belleville, you're in the clear. Haddam to Mahaska, south to US 36, you need to be in tornado shelter, as this is in our next storm in line, which is going to continue to produce damage if the tornado can touch back down again. It has had a history of that. It shows a pretty significant rotation showing up on radar, so we will continue to watch that storm as it moves out of Republic and into Washington counties right now. This is a dangerous storm. Doesn't look terrible when you first glance at it on radar, but once you start looking at things like the debris signature on radar, you start to see this little area right here. Shows up as maybe a mix of precipitation or debris as we start to get into this. Not quite as ominous as it looked earlier, but it has had a history of producing those circulations on this one, and it is at this point, radar indicated tornado, and hopefully the circulation can kind of wind down on that one. As the big view shows, a large area not getting rained on. We have a cell developing in southern Marshall County, a cell developing in southwestern Dickinson County, but as we look to the south and southwest, we do have another significant thunderstorm or two trying to get going north of Wichita. Right now, those particular storms have severe thunderstorm warnings on those, as well as they move off to the north and to the northeast. It looks like we may have seen a kind of a view over there looking from Manhattan. That is looking to the west initially, and we'll kind of keep panning it around to the right, and we'll get that view off to the north and west. Obviously, sunshine there. We've got the storms to the south. Take a view up here. So we're looking from Manhattan right back that way. That's kind of the view we're looking at. So there's just a view of the storm structure. They may be a little bit higher based storms than what we've had on the last couple of them. So this is one that we'll look at. They are producing hail, still a pretty significant 1 to 1.5 inch hail size on that one. But the radar view itself is showing, again, circulation kind of tucked into the rain. You're looking back at those thunderstorms off in the distance from Manhattan, looking back at those. It's a considerable distance away. We're not looking to actually see the rotation. That's way too far away to be able to see it, but looking at just if we can see any kind of storm structure on those as we look out ahead. We actually have a clear vantage point for a while, looking off in that northwestern direction. We'll see how many more of these cells develop over Dickinson, see over Marshall County. Pretty quiet right now in Topeka after some heavy rain moved through earlier, but additional thunderstorms will be possible with this one. We do have the tornado warning That continues for Republic and Washington County until 7:30. Those are the latest tornado warnings that we've had in at this time as they move off to the east and to the northeast. With time, that will be a storm capable of producing a tornado as it approaches western and northwestern Washington County. This is a complex of storms that we've been tracking for quite a while. Looking at it from the Manhattan view, looking back at this tornadic potential storm, we have, again, something that we'll keep an eye on. It is well in the distance, trying to look considerable distance, 55, 60 miles to the north and west. From even a height that we're at that camera location, likely we're not going to see a lot unless we get some really good backlighting on it. It's possible. So we'll keep an eye on that one for you. That is the closest camera view we've had. We sent so much of our crews down to the south and east. We'll have more that'll reposition and get into hopefully a better vantage point for areas to the north and east. So there's a view out of Manhattan. You can see, as I kind of step out of there, you can see a couple of things. We see the clouds off in the distance building up, the storm clouds a little bit farther away to the north and east, but that one is a kind of a complex of storms that we're looking back to that are developing from western edge of Cloud County northward into Republic and eventually Washington counties. And that will have the storm that has had a history of producing a tornado, radar indicated with a tornado warning for Republic and Washington counties. David?
So Matt, to give you and our viewers a little idea as to where our crews are, we do have 2 crews around the Lawrence area. They will be bringing you significant damage. We saw that earlier from Jace Mills, so they're going to be giving us updates. We have a crew on the way to Manhattan, and so we can intercept what's going on to the northwest. We can head them that way for the 10 o'clock program, and then we have a brand new crew heading down toward Emporia. They may start working their way west toward places like Americus and Strong City to intercept what's coming up from Wichita. So we have 2 crews on the damage and following what happened with our big tornado, and then we have other crews going southwest and northwest to help keep you covered.
All right, and back to the look at MaxTrack radar. We'll show you what we are looking at on this storm. We're looking back at this area. Here's Cuba, here's Belleville, here's Haddam in western Washington County. This is eastern Republic County under the tornado warning. We'll see if it can hold together, but it continues to show circulation on this storm. Now, in Republic County, looking at the vantage point, if you will, actually, Andrew, if you can, switch this source over. I can't do it from over here, but just switch the source on the sweep of the radar to the Hastings site. Keep it on storm relative velocity. I just want to see if looking at it from the other side, from the Hastings radar, it will flip the green and the kind of the pink look there because it's coming from the other one. You see where that sweep came through? That's coming from Alma. That's a pretty high distance that it's looking at over there. There's the view of it. Is that velocity or is that storm relative? It's not as impressive from that view, and it's actually a little lower to the ground. And the reason I point that out is this is kind of the radar beams kind of go up with height, and so this one's a little bit lower when we look at it from Hastings, Nebraska. And so on this particular cell, this one may not be quite as low to the ground on the rotation. When I go back to the other one, looking at it over here, I'll switch back over to the Topeka one, and you can see the circulation that might be a little bit higher up in the storm. We'll keep an eye on that. That would be good. That's a hail-producing situation, but that's a little bit less of a tornadic threat. The tornado warning is there. That's just looking for something positive to pass along. That may be part of the reason why we're getting 1 to 2 inch diameter hailstones between Belleville, Munden, and Cuba. That is moving toward Mahaska and areas around Haddam, but also the possibility of the tornado. It is not an all clear by any stretch. We haven't had any later reports or more recent reports on this one that we have a tornado on the ground, but we have seen on this particular storm, we've got earlier a confirmed tornado and still the tornado warning for Republic and Washington counties. David?
There's a lot of bright sunshine out there, Matt, right now. Looking at the Junction City weather cam, it's mainly clear. We've been looking at the Manhattan camera as you're looking at that storm pretty far away. Looking northwest, still the tornado warning out as this cell moves over. It's radar indicated at the present time with numerous severe storm warnings extending to the west and southwest side of that. There's also development down toward the Wichita area with additional cells that appear to be broken and not so closely grouped together. So we'll see what that does in that environment. And then there's our live shot as we're kind of looking at what's going on. That may even be some video taken earlier, but it's certainly some rainfall happening there. There's Junction City showing stuff from a distance as well. So we have a lot of action going on. Kansas City down toward Wichita and our northwest counties. Not much going on in the Manhattan, Topeka area right now, but unfortunately, not only did we have the damaging tornado, but we had way too much rain. Many locations getting 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches in about a half hour to 1 hour's time, and that's only going to make our flood situation last much, much longer.
All right, thank you, David. And again, there's a look at where the warnings are in effect right now. So a tornado warning for Republic and northwestern Washington counties. This storm has had a history of tornadoes. Haven't had a latest confirmation out of it. It is this portion of the cell right there. An additional cell developed into between Belleville and Concordia and more to the south and west. That has prompted a kind of a view of, on this one, a little bit wider view. That has prompted on that one some severe thunderstorm warnings back behind it. But we have all of these out here, and I'll show you where the warnings are in effect right now. We've got a tornado warning extended here. We've got a tornado warning that actually got extended as a severe thunderstorm warning farther to the west. Severe thunderstorm warnings for the second cell. The northern cell has the tornado warning over Republic and Washington counties. The cell over western Cloud County is a severe thunderstorm warning. So again, tornado potential east or just about east and slightly northeast of Cuba, headed toward Haddam and Mahaska with that storm. View out of Junction City. Let's actually turn the camera, if we can, to the left. I know we're going to have some building kind of rooftop obstructions, but we're looking kind of a little bit more to the northeast there. So as we turn it to the left, you'll see there will be some pole view that we'll see there is kind of right in the way. Once we clear past that pole, we should have a pretty good view looking back to that thunderstorm off to the north and west. Looking back, you can see the sunshine, but there's that thunderstorm complex. You can stop it right there. That's a view back in that general direction. So there's that complex of thunderstorms to the north and west of Junction City. So this is, again, the kind of the towering view of that storm cloud that we're watching. It has the potential for a tornado in northeastern, right now, Republic County, northwestern Washington County. As we look at this, here's a look at it on our Max Track radar. It's this complex of storms that we're watching. Additional storms farther to the south and west continue to be severe, but tornado warning continuing now for the eastern side of Republic County and northwestern Washington County. Belleville to Cuba being dropped out of that warning as the storm itself is moving out of that portion of the warned area, but the tornado warning continues for areas of Washington County as it approaches the county line. Take a little closer look at that thunderstorm. First, zoom in. Again, we'll kind of let you know which areas are under the warning. It is Haddam to Mahaska first. Back toward Munden and Cuba is where the storm is located right now. We'll look at the circulation on this. Circulation is still showing up right there, due west of Haddam, northeast of Cuba, south of Mahaska. This storm is going to go very, very close to Haddam. Should pass northwest of Morrowville, should pass to the south, at least the circulation will pass south of Mahaska. The hail may not. We're looking back at that thunderstorm from a considerable distance from Junction City, looking back at that thunderstorm. But there again, you can see where the storm is located. Tornado warnings have been in place now for a while on that particular cell. You can see I'll get some of the reports there. Had hail reports at Belleville. Zoom out just a little bit. You can see it has had a history. I don't know if we've had a storm report on it. Just a couple of those funnel clouds and then the tornado one as well. Take a look at where that one came in from. The latest report on this one, southwest of Cortland. That one was a tornado that was fairly close at 6:20 in Jewell County to Formosa. And then this one back here was a one that was in the city of Jewell. The tornado was becoming rain wrapped, and that was at 6:12. Those are the last reports that we've had on that particular storm. This one will also be a fairly good hail-producing thunderstorm over eastern Republic, moving into northwestern Washington County. And finally, I'll take a look back at the circulation, and you can see, again, there it is, right approaching the Washington County line. So if you are in western and northwestern Washington County, the circulation is getting closer and closer to Haddam. You need to be in tornado shelter at Haddam. To Mahaska, although it should pass south of Mahaska, you need to be in tornado shelter at Haddam at this time as a possible tornado riding right along what looks like near or just north of a warm front boundary, moving across just north of US 36 circulation capable of producing a tornado moving into northwestern Washington County. The only good news to pass along on this one is this one doesn't look quite as intense on radar as the one did over Douglas County. It is also much farther from the radar beam, so take that for what it's worth, that it is a possibility on that storm that there is still a tornado, but we don't have confirmation. And that is good news in the sense that we don't look at on this particular one, we don't have anything that is a guarantee that we have a tornado on the ground, but we're going to treat it as such because just for the overabundance of caution there, northwestern Washington County, that warning goes until 7:30. A little wider view here as we zoom out on this storm. You can see not quite including the city of Washington, but from Republic down into right now, I'd say, well, I'll call it western cloud, western Republic County under the severe thunderstorm warnings, northeastern and east central Republic and northwestern Washington counties under the tornado warning. David?
Matt, what we're getting right now, spotters indicating a funnel, no debris, no touchdown at the present time, but a funnel with that Republic County storm. This was 8 minutes ago, and it was 4 miles southwest of Belleville at that report time. As you're mentioning, all these communities in harm's way, we stay with it because every single community in northeast Kansas is just as important as the next. So if it's heading toward Manhattan, we're on it. If it's heading toward Topeka, you bet. If it's heading toward Lawrence like the one did this evening, absolutely. And up here in Cloud and Republic counties, we've been covering the storm. It's getting into Washington County and pushing east. Every single person's life and home and property is just as important as everything else. There's some of the damage that we've been touching on. Jace Mills gave us a report just a while back on what was going on. That large tornado that was in the Pleasant Grove area, clipping the south and southeast corner of Lawrence, pushing off toward the Kansas City metro as we speak. So there are a lot of people in the same tornado path as what we had here in Douglas County. So there's the damage, a little bit to the car, not so much to the truck, but certainly what these tornadoes can do is create some initial damage, and then once wind gets in that structure, you're going to have some outside walls fall out, you're going to have a roof removed, and you're going to be exposed to what's going on. So that is one area that was hit. Again, we've got a couple of crews over there giving us some updates as to what's going on. We also have the situation happening again with the news crews covering this damage that has already come and gone. We'll be talking to law enforcement on any kind of injury status and get more details as to what damage has occurred. Then we have the threat up around Belleville and certainly east of that toward Washington. What we're looking at is that particular tornado warning until 7:30. So we have at least 20 minutes left on that. And then we have the storm warnings both north and well west of that as we start getting into a little bit of deeper time. So we have the tornado warning that we're looking at right there on 36. It's had a funnel associated with that. And so again, we're staying with this as total coverage. We'll get you some updates on your programming if we can re-show something either online or on air as we go. We also have the damage that we have a couple of crews on over in the Lawrence area. It's both video and photos coming from that. We have Christina Reese and Jace Mills and Hannah Brandt over there. We also have a crew on the way to Wichita, and so they're going to stop in Emporia because there are more storms feeding up into our viewing area as we have a watch box issued until 10 p.m. But what you're looking at on the screen right now is our tornado warning. This is the only tornado warning that we have in effect. It's for Republic and Washington counties until 7:30. It was radar indicated, then we got spotter confirmation of a funnel, and that cell is moving toward the east-northeast at 40 miles per hour. Matt, back to you.
That's right. So part of our viewing area under this tornado warning is that storm is crossing over toward the Haddam area. That is what looks like, again, the possibility of a tornado once again. So if you're in the Haddam area, you need to be taking tornado shelter right now. This is a possible tornado that has had a history of tornadoes with this storm. As we look a little bit closer, it's still showing signs of rotation and getting reports in that there's a possibility of a tornado with this storm to the west of Haddam. There's been certainly some funnels showing up west of Haddam. This is moving into the area between Haddam and Mahaska for reference there. This will continue to move to the north and the east. So again, this is a storm capable of producing a tornado. We have not had confirmation that it is on the ground lately, but it has had a history of it, still showing kind of a weakness in the precipitation. Could be a good sign of the circulation. The other thing, and by good I mean not good in the sense of the outcome, but good in the sense of it is a good good sign and the kind of a good telling of that circulation. There you can see that circulation approaching Haddam. You still need to stay in your tornado shelter at Haddam. This will approach near and northwest of Morrowville as it moves through. This one, a lot of lightning still with this thunderstorm. You can see to the northwestern part of Washington and into Republic County. Large hail still a possibility with this. It's actually been ramping up as the storm is intensifying a little bit from the hail aspect. Certainly bears watching as it crosses over our northwestern viewing area of northwestern Washington County to the north and west of Morrowville to the north and west of Haddam. So again, a long duration event here as the storms capable of producing tornadoes continue to move through part of the viewing area. This is a storm that you can see near Haddam. That is where the tornadic circulation is. We're not seeing that same circulation in northeastern Cloud County right now. We do have an intensifying storm over southeastern Marshall County, but it has not shown any signs of significant rotation. We continue to have the tornadic potential over toward Kansas City and a few more storms to the south and to the southwest. Once this thunderstorm, if there's any kind of weakening, we're going to hold on coverage until we get this storm weakening in northwestern Washington County. Still people in the path of this as a storm capable of producing a tornado moves through Washington County. You can see the circulation showing up right there near Haddam. If you're in Haddam, you need to be in a tornado shelter at this time as the circulation has had a history of tornadoes. Certainly has the radar indication that it's a possibility. We'll put a track on this to give you some time of arrival here. This one, if we take from the leading edge of the circulation, move it off to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We'll move up toward Hanover by 7:53 and on crossing over. If it crosses past Hanover before then, this may move over the state line into Nebraska closer to maybe 7:40. But that at this time is still remaining in the Kansas side on the northern part of Washington County for a little while longer. So again, that storm has had a history of tornadoes. It is still showing radar indication of that as we look at it on radar. It's not as large of a storm, but you can kind of see that circulation even showing up with that little lull in the precipitation as it moves through. We've had, in addition to this storm, as we continue to watch this, we're also kind of assessing the damage that occurred in the Douglas County area. And we have Christina Reese, who is in Lawrence area. Christina, where are you in reference to the city of Lawrence, and what have you seen? We can obviously see the damage behind you.
Yeah, this house was definitely hit hard. In terms of where we are just south of Lawrence, the city limits there. We are just off of Highway 59 where that tornado crossed, and you can see the path behind me. This house was not spared from the damage. Now, we did talk to the family, the Russos. They were unharmed. They heard the sirens go off. They got their alerts, and then they ended up taking shelter. They're a little shaken up, but they are okay. Now, unfortunately for them, this side of this road, we are on the North 1100 road here, just outside of Lawrence. Both sides of them, they are completely surrounded by down power lines. In fact, one of them actually has part of their roof attached. Not only do you want to look out for those power lines that are going to be down, but people are going to be wandering, picking up their pieces. And also for some animals, just like this pooch here, this is Sage. We did try calling their owner, haven't heard a response back yet, but this is scary for them too. So if you have to be out and about on the roads, be mindful. There might be some pets running about too if their home was hit and they got out. So just take it easy. Again, the south side of Lawrence here hit hard by this tornado that crossed right along Highway 59. We saw a semi that was overturned as part of those high winds as well. But the good news is this family that lives behind me, the Russos, are okay. They're just a little shaken up. Christina Reese, KSNT News.
All right, Christina, thank you. And again, that storm had moved through the Lawrence area. Now we're seeing circulation in Haddam, between Haddam and Mahaska. That is where the latest warning is in effect right now. Show you where the warning locations are. Continuing until 7:30 for Republic and Washington counties, although the threat has exited out of Republic County and really just continuing for Washington County at this time. We'll see it's getting extended farther to the north as a severe thunderstorm warning toward Fairbury, Nebraska. And David, I don't know if we have any reports coming in from the Weather Service of their intention with this one?
Well, not yet, but the emergency manager in Republic County did see the funnel, and this was 6 minutes ago near Scandia, so 4 miles east-southeast of Scandia at that time. Again, that was about 8 minutes ago.
All right, so that one coming in, and that would put it a little bit southwest of Belleville as it came in out of, well, probably just due south of Belleville outside of Scandia. And then as it approached, it's now crossing over. We'll take a look at it. It is now into Washington County. On this one, look at this view of the velocity, and you can see it right there. It would be between Mahaska and Haddam at this time. and this is going to miss the city of Washington. It will miss Morrowville. It did come very, very close to Haddam, and pretty much right on top of Haddam is where the circulation is. Whether or not anything touched down, we've not heard confirmation out of that, but remain in your shelter. And Haddam at this time, it is passing south of Mahaska. It is going to move north of Morrowville and eventually towards Steel City, Nebraska, or south of there, but remain on the Kansas side of the state line for a little while longer as it crosses over the northwestern portion of Washington County. Again, take your tornado shelter in northwestern Washington County, capable of producing a tornado. This storm has had a history of tornadoes, more recently over Republic County, continuing with a history of funnels out of it. Whether or not they're touching the ground, we'll continue to watch. It will gradually move into cooler air, and our hope is that it's going to weaken. We just haven't seen that happen fully just yet. The other thing with the storm that has been happening that is not a good sign, it's an indication of a strengthening storm, is the hail sizes are getting very large near and northwest of Haddam to Mahaska, getting hail sizes of 2.5 inch diameter, so getting close to tennis ball size hail potential on radar. We'll see how much of that materializes at the ground level, but the radar indication is for some large hail on that storm. Also, the other storms farther to the south and west, not really showing as much sign of hail development in Dickinson County or Marshall County, but we'll keep an eye on those. We are continuing to monitor the cleanup efforts going on in Lawrence, and Jace Mills joins us now from Lawrence. Jace, it looks like you've come across yet another area hard hit.
Yeah, a devastation, it would be the right word to use for this neighborhood in Lawrence, just on the other side of Highway 59. We do know that one of the families in the home that you're seeing right now, you can see what looks to have been the garage that has been collapsed in, and then other parts of the home. I don't know if Sully can get it, but there's also a boat that was turned up against the side of the house. So there's significant damage to this home, but this is not the only home. Many of the homes in this cul-de-sac have damage. Many trees have been broken, and this is just one area in Lawrence. On our way in, many signs are down, highway signs, the power lines in some places are down. Someone did tell me they were able to, that secondhand I'm getting that people did go neighborhood to neighborhood and to make sure that these people in these homes are okay. That's not something we've been able to confirm. We do know that the family that lives here at least is starting to get through some of the damage, but it's difficult to look someone in the face who's just essentially lost their home in one of these powerful tornadoes that has done extensive, significant damage here in Lawrence. And we're going to continue to follow up with these folks as they start that rebuilding process, Matt.
All right, we're also getting word in right now to Jace, obviously devastation there. We've heard that the town of Linwood also took a direct hit from that storm, so there's going to be a lot of damage in and around Linwood as well. They, had the tornado a few years back, and unfortunately it looks like they took another hit this evening. Again, a couple of storms that we want to make sure that we continue. We'll continue our coverage as long as part of our viewing area is underneath the potential there. We have the tornado warning over into the Kansas City side. That one looks like it has crossed over into Missouri, moving over into Platte County, Missouri. Looks like the tornado warning is being discontinued as of 7:30, and so we want to make sure, double check with the National Weather Service if we can, if that is going to be extended. I know they need to at least extend it as probably a severe thunderstorm warning at the very least, and if they decide to do that, we'll be able to return you to programming, and we appreciate everybody's patience as we make sure everyone in the path of this is safe. We'll watch these storms from near Wichita and out west, and these isolated cells. It's been bad enough, but it looks like that particular storm, well, unfortunately, let me get back into a closer view here. That storm has unfortunately done a lot of damage to the east. Tornado warnings being extended across the northern part of the county as that circulation, I thought probably would there. I apologize, I'm hitting the wrong button on my my clicker here. So again, there's the warning up there, northern part of Washington County. And we'll take a close view at that. That is just a small strip of the northern part of the county remaining under that tornado warning. The circulation is still there. It's located right here northeast of Haddam. You can see that right there. There's your tornadic potential circulation just northeast of Haddam. That'll cross over, so from Hollenberg back to K15 north of US 36. You need to be in tornado shelter right now as the tornado warning has been extended for northern Washington County from near Haddam up to Hollenberg. That goes until 8 o'clock this evening. This storm has had a history of producing tornadoes. I know if you're in Manhattan, if you're in Topeka, and it's so clear and so quiet, and you think, I know this is nowhere near. This is local television for Washington County, and we've said this time and time again. It doesn't matter if you got one neighbor or if you got 1,000 neighbors. Your life, it matters to us. We'll continue on this coverage as long as we need to get people that life-saving information. We hope this isn't a repeat of what happened in Douglas County, but we certainly can't rule it out, and we're going to stay with it, making sure everybody gets the information they need. If you're in Hollenberg, you need to start planning on taking shelter as the storm has moved from near Belleville to just north of Haddam, and now kind of making a beeline toward the Hollenberg area. So Haddam, it is passing by to your east. You'll be clear to come out of your shelters here within a couple minutes as that storm moves farther and farther away. If you're living along K15 in northern Washington County, you need to be in tornado shelter right now. This will miss the city of Washington. It will head toward Hollenberg. So again, Hollenberg, take your tornado shelter right now. You're in the clear from the circulation at Mahaska. Very shortly, you'll be in the clear from the circulation at Haddam. This storm is north and west of Washington in northwestern and north central Washington County. Tornado warning continues for northern Washington County until 8 o'clock as this storm has a potential tornado, or at least a radar indicated circulation of a tornado moving to the east. David?
Yeah, exactly what you're talking about, Matt. The radar indication, there was the report of the funnel, and since that rotation is still evident, they're going to go ahead and continue this until 8 o'clock. It does need to cross the state line, of course, before it no longer becomes a threat for our viewers, but that tornado warning until 8 o'clock. It's moving northeast at 35. It likely crosses the state line as far as that circulation is concerned. Even before that, it's 7:33, so probably by 7:50, that may be completely across the Nebraska border, and they've issued that storm warning in advance of that, so it looks like we've got just a bit longer on this.
Yeah, and the severe thunderstorm warning too up toward Fairbury. Keep in mind there's another aspect of this storm that while the circulation isn't immediately hitting Nebraska because that's a little farther south, this hail threat will, and that's why it's a severe thunderstorm warning on the Nebraska side, because the circulation currently is only on the Kansas side. And so the Kansas side is a tornado warning with the potential of large hail. The large hail between Haddam and Mahaska will move up to south of Fairbury and northwest of Hollenberg, but the circulation will move right toward Hollenberg. And so that's what we'll be watching for on this storm, is this circulation right here, north and east of Haddam. You're in the clear now from the circulation at Haddam to Mahaska. You are out of the worst of this circulation. You need to be in tornado shelter from anywhere along K15. All the way east to Hollenberg, you need to be getting in tornado shelter. This storm isn't as rain-wrapped as the ones were before. Tornado watch continues. It was extended north to include Republic and Washington counties. You'll notice it does not include areas up around Marshall, Nemaha, and Brown counties, and there is a reason for that. There is still some cooler air in place. And so as the storm exits out, it will likely lose some of its punch. It has not yet done that. It is still riding right along that boundary. It is still producing some pretty significant rotation. We also have this cell down here, which is southwest of Emporia, starting to get a little notch showing up on that storm as well. This particular cell is in a very favorable area all by itself. It is a severe thunderstorm warning. It is moving to the north and east. That is another one that over time our attention will need to turn to as it approaches. That is for Chase, Harvey, Marion, and Butler County for a severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning is for this portion up here in Washington County until 8 o'clock. We also have several flash flood warnings in effect for Shawnee, Osage, and Lyon counties from those storms that raced through earlier, and the tornado warning for Clay, Platte, and Wyandotte County. That is the storm that moved through the Lawrence area and did a lot of damage. And meteorologist Andrew Adams has some photos of some of the damage that is coming in from the south end of Lawrence.
That's right, Matt. We've gotten plenty of pictures in. Here's several from Becky Taylor outside of Eudora. You can see trees that have just been snapped like toothpicks next to the railroad tracks. Going on to the next one, we can see a power line that, again, like a toothpick, just completely snapped in half as the tornado crossed it. And also, a concern for drivers, why we say to not be on the roads around these tornadoes is there's a truck that got blown off of the road and into the ditch, and looks like what is also some some high waters there as well. And here's several pictures also from sports reporter Sully Ingalls, who was south of Lawrence. There's some home damage, significant damage to parts of the roof of that home, and also some pretty significant damage apparent on the next couple of pictures. I don't know if this was possibly a garage. I see a lot of cars, but really a lot not left standing as you're looking at that. And then one more picture that he had sent in that just continues just to show how significant some of this damage was with this tornado as it passed south of Lawrence. So obviously a very serious situation, and now the cleanup process is underway, and just goes to show how primed the atmosphere really was this evening for these kind of storms.
Yeah, dangerous situation there, and hopefully we have yet to hear, my understanding, we have yet to hear of injuries, and let's hope it stays that way. This is, we'll take the damage, we'll find a way to get everybody cleaned up, everyone pitches in, but we obviously hope everyone is safe, and that's why we want to continue watching the storm in Washington County, because we do have a lot of hail with that one on the northwest side of the county. That is very close to the area of what we call the updraft of the storm. That storm is continuing to move to the north and east of Haddam, but the biggest concern with that is the rotation. It is right now nearing K15, northeast of Haddam, northwest of Washington, making a way toward Hollenberg at this time. So there's the potential tornadic circulation. There's a weaker circulation farther to the south with the second cell. That one at this time doesn't look to be an imminent concern. That would be west of Lynn. Of course, Lynn got hit by the tornado, small tornado that came through town earlier this week, and so hopefully we don't get another one moving near there, but we'll keep an eye on that area. But the circulation northwest of Washington still could produce a tornado as it crosses K15 and moves toward Hollenberg. We definitely have a dangerous situation on that one. Heavy rain still moving through there. The second circulation was back again to the west of Lynn on this end of the storm. The other circulation is up there. That's the more significant one. That is the one that has prompted the tornado warning for northern Washington County until 8 o'clock. Farther south, the storm isn't even severe. I mentioned we'll watch that rotation. It is not anything imminent. It's not even no longer a severe thunderstorm. Once this rotation crosses out of northern Washington County, then we are going to be able to hopefully see the last of these for a while. Now, we will continue to watch that circulation there. Circulation if it develops farther to the south. This particular one doesn't look quite as intense on the most recent radar scan. They can fluctuate from time to time, so we'll watch that. The hail sizes on this one are still pretty intense. 2.5 inch diameter hail. That's somewhere between egg and tennis ball size hailstones north of Haddam. That'll cross around the north part of K15 right at the state line and then move over. The hail eventually will first cross the state line. The circulation will be a little bit after that. On this particular storm, it is heavily raining up into Nebraska and down to the south. As we take a wider view, just showing you where the rain is, we have seen a little enhancement of storms on the Nemaha and Marshall County line and several cells developing from Clay County through Dickinson County. And of course, the biggest of these storms right now to the south is this one over the northwestern corner of Butler County, moving into southeastern Marion County and eventually southwestern Chase County. That one has a severe thunderstorm warning on it as well as it moves off to the north and east. So we'll keep an eye on that one for later. That one isn't the immediate concern, although it is an intense thunderstorm. The immediate concern for us is the storm up to the north into Washington County. That is the one you see right there, producing the potential tornado just northwest of the city of Washington near K15, but not at 36, a little bit closer to the state line. Between 36 and state line, halfway is where the circulation is right now on that storm, but it is in Washington County. We do have a potential tornadic circulation with that storm as it continues to move nearer and nearer to the state line region, but not quite there just yet. Actually, put it right behind the banner. I'll try that again, center it up a little bit better. So there's your circulation right there. Second circulation to the south. That top circulation has weakened just a little bit. I'll kind of go back in time on it just a little bit, and you'll see, just taking the slider back in time with this, you'll see the circulation was a little bit more intense when it came past Belleville, strengthened again near Cuba, strengthened again near Haddam, and right now it is weakening just a little bit. And hopefully that continues. If that trend continues, then the tornado warning might, and it hasn't been decided yet, but might need to be reevaluated on whether or not this continues to be a concern. But we will watch that very closely. The circulation, that'd be good news for Hollenberg if we can see that rotation weaken just a little bit. Take another view of this. You can see both views of it really kind of showing the same kind of view. The circulation is tucked in right there. It is in the midst of the kind of leading edge of the precipitation, or a little bit tucked into the precipitation at this time. And you see that little lull in the heavier precipitation? That's an indication where the air is rising. Pretty typical of these high precipitation storms. They become rain wrapped. We're not going to see much northwest of Washington out of this. But again, we've seen this one has had a history of tornadoes. And so we don't want to let it go too early as that continues to slide to the north and east. Doesn't have too much real estate left on the Kansas side of the state line. And eventually that will cross out of Washington County into Nebraska. And that is good news if you are in Marshall County, as it doesn't look to be coming your way. But we will continue to watch this storm pretty closely for you. Take another look at this of where that rotation is. Again, pretty close to and just maybe east of K15, moving to the north and east toward Hollenberg. And with that, the tornado warning is being trimmed back a little bit on the western edge of it, I suspect. Or actually, it's being continued on to the east. That may be for the second cell to the south that we mentioned that was enhancing just a little bit. So let's zoom out just a little bit and see where that new tornado warning is. That includes now the rest of Washington County and northern, pretty much all of Washington County included in that from 8:15. I mentioned that other circulation. I think that one's ramping up. We may get the southern end of it there, right there, northwest of Palmer. This includes Washington. So we have a circulation to the north. Now we have a second circulation northwest of Palmer. David, George, what's the latest from the Weather Service on that one?
That is what they're doing here. So you've got the tornado warning until 8:15. That one circulation almost to the state line, but the one that you're talking about located 6 to 7 miles northwest of Palmer, intensifying, and that cell's moving northeast at 45.
All right, northeast at 45. So let's put a time of arrival on that one. That storm, again, is one that we just, as we've been watching this northern cell, I kept watching this one intensifying, and the Weather Service was as well, and they've seen the same thing we're seeing here, that this storm has a capability of producing a tornado as it moves off to the north and east at about 45 miles per hour, puts it to Washington by 7:56, on to Hanover by 8:10. If it continues on that path, you've got Marysville out ahead of it by 8:23. So again, a storm that is certainly going to need to bear some watching on that one, as this storm is part of two circulations. We have this southern end of it and the northern one. The northern one prompted the first tornado warning on that one, and that continues until 8 o'clock for the northern section of the county. The central and southern section of the county for the other storm, the other cell of that storm line north and west of Palmer, has prompted the tornado warning. Now this includes pretty much the remainder of central Washington County. As this moves up near the city of Washington on over toward Hanover, I think Moroville, you're going to be between these two circulations, the one to your north, the one to your south. So I think you'll be all right in Moroville. Washington, you'll be close, but it is going to be tracking fairly close to your location as well as this moves off to the north and east. There's your potential circulation on that one northwest of Palmer, and that one has prompted the second tornado warning across Washington County right now as that moves off to the north and east until 6:15. That will include the city of Palmer. It'll include Washington. I believe it would 8:15. I said the wrong time. 8:15 is when it continues to. You can see that storm looking at it from Junction City. These are big thunderstorms as we view those. That is actually the ones that you're looking at that are coming in from the south. See all that new development? That's what's happening in Chase County. That's what's happening in Marion County. Now we're looking to the west. Those are the new storms developing in Dickinson County. And as we look more to the north and west, what you're starting to see is the new development, or the development off toward right there. That is the storm clouds that you're seeing up into Washington County as we look up to these thunderstorms. So again, numerous thunderstorms are developing. You can see these big towering clouds. They are tall clouds. They've been intense thunderstorms all across the region. And so conditions just unfortunately remain very favorable. We're in this moderate risk area for a reason across much of the region today, enhanced and moderate risk, because this is the concern, is that we have definitely the potential for circulation. We've got a new cell developing south of Clay Center. The storm northwest of Palmer is rotating. The storm northwest of Washington also rotating. And so with that, kind of slide it down here, put in a different view here so you can see where the area of rotation is on the latest scan. And we've got that one right there nearing the state line. Another smaller circulation kind of ramped up west of Lynn. We'll see if that continues. That one doesn't look quite as intense at this time, but the one north of Washington continues to show signs as it approaches the state line of a tight circulation. David?
Matt, we're getting concerns from viewers in Junction City and Manhattan, worried about what's been going on. The storms earlier with the big hail in our northern counties, then the tornado that just barely grazed Lawrence and headed over toward Kansas City. Now the cells that we're talking about up toward Washington County. But with this development rapidly taking place just west of Junction City and Manhattan, and with what's happened tonight already, some huge concerns over what hail might happen here, what precautions need to be taken in that Junction City, Ogden, and Manhattan region.
All right, and this is why, we talked about how we'd have rounds of thunderstorms. The first round became intense and unfortunately damaging over especially Douglas County. Heard that Linwood took a direct hit. The south communities outside of Lawrence on the south side also taking a direct hit from that storm. Now we've got an intense thunderstorm. This is a little bit southwest of Cottonwood Falls. Here you've got Morris County and Lyon County. Dickinson County, seeing a storm blossoming there pretty quickly. That needs to be watched for Junction City. There's another cell south of Clay Center, still remains small, and then the two potential tornadic circulations that are currently ongoing over Washington County. Why do I bring the ones up in Washington County along this? Notice how they're all kind of along the same line. There is a feature moving through the middle of the state triggering these thunderstorms, a front that's moving in that is going to enhance some of these storms, and that is kind of the leading edge of the greatest area of rotation capability. And so when these storms form along this, we've got to watch those very carefully, as these can grow upscale into larger thunderstorms with time as the sun lowers. There's also an area of winds a little bit off of the ground that strengthen and help to rotate thunderstorms. And I don't want to throw out another particular tornado, because as soon as I say one of them, your mind instantly goes to that. But I can tell you there have been several instances where we have these storms ramp up within an hour after the sun sets. And so even when the sun goes down, we'll lose the heating. These have enough heating and enough warmth in the atmosphere, they will continue. What we add in as the sun goes down is what we call our low-level jet stream. This high winds about 1,000, 2,000 feet off the ground, and that can help spin up thunderstorms that haven't been rotating yet, and it can help enhance some of these thunderstorms. And so we're going to be watching that very closely on these storms. I'll show you which ones have warnings on them, not many, over the western part. Although I say that, they just all got issued. So now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Clay and Riley County, northwestern Gary County, from Dickinson County, northwestern Morris, into southwestern Gary County, severe thunderstorm warnings. 2 tornado warnings in Washington County, the southern cell until 8:15. The far northern one, that one goes until 8 o'clock. And so when you look at this, here as we take a look at these storms, we have 2 areas of rotation on this one in Washington County. Both of them have some danger associated with them. The one nearing the state line is about to exit across near Hollenberg and across the state line. The other area of circulation approaching Lynn is rotating, but currently it's a broader circulation, not quite as intense of a circulation, but still prompted the tornado warning across Washington County. Do we have any new updates coming in on either of these or any of the other storms, David?
We don't really at the present time, but you mentioned Lynn. Again, Lynn getting that EF0, some damage and some cleanup, and now they've got another storm approaching that area, so I'm sure they're very nervous and concerned about that. We have the threat going on for quite some time with this development in the front, and that still has to impact even Topeka. So even though you had the very heavy rains, you may not be completely out of it. The cell just off southwest of Emporia and north and northwest of the El Dorado area, that has hail. That's moving northeast toward Topeka. We've got the development out toward Junction City and Chapman and Clay Center, and working up toward Washington County, all of that sweeping across. So even if you've been hit, you may get hit another time or two.
That's right. This is not a one round of storms along a front that pushes straight through. It has been rounds of these triggering, and they move off of the front and move off to the north and east. Severe thunderstorm warnings from Butler and into Chase and Marion County. Severe thunderstorm warning on this storm in Dickinson over northwestern Morris and eventually southwestern Gary County as well. The other storm that is moving out of Clay County over northwestern northwestern Riley County, and then the storms in Washington County. Those are the tornado warned storms right now as we continue to watch that circulation. We'll keep a close eye on that for the obvious reason that it is a possibility of a tornadic circulation. We've got two of them. I'll zoom in a little closer and you'll see this. These particular storms have had a history of tornadoes on this northern one. The southern one looks to be, what I think is happening right now, just looking at this, I think this northern one is leaving the boundary and lifting a little bit farther to the north and to the west, and the circulation coming in from Lynn County, west of Lynn, across southern Washington County is another one that is capable of producing a tornado as that circulation tries to hold together. There are additional storms farther to the east of this that are not showing as much signs of severity at this point, but we've seen that doesn't necessarily last too long. So again, that's out ahead of it. So there you have the Washington County storm, kind of quiet around Marysville and Beatty. And then we have additional storms from Seneca to about Bern, southwest through Vermilion, all the way back toward Blaine. And again, all these areas were hit last Tuesday with severe weather. And so again, it's kind of a repeat in that sense of some of the locations that we are experiencing some intense thunderstorms. We also have this storm down to the south. That one is probably the most intense of the storms themselves, just with the intensification. That's also the longest lasting one. But all of these are intense. And the one over Washington County adds in the threat on top of it, that not only is it an intense thunderstorm, but it is also rotating. And that is why we have the tornado warning over Washington County that goes until 8:15. This does include the city of Washington. It includes Lynn. It includes Barnes. The storm itself is nearing Lynn at this time, so you need to be in tornado shelter if you are in Lynn. That one will continue to move off to the north and east. The circulation looks like it might be sharpening up between Lynn and Washington right there. So in Washington and Lynn, take your tornado precautions right now. Okay. The storm is nearing Washington, not quite into town, but it is nearing Washington, passing to the north of Lynn or near and north of Lynn. We'll have to watch that, what looks to be a sharpening area of circulation on there as it moves off to the north and east across Washington County. So again, numerous cells developing. We do have intense thunderstorm development across the region. Looking at it from our Junction City camera, that is looking back to the kind of the north toward these cells. You can see them off in the distance. Obviously, we're not going to see low-level structure with this one. With time, we'll turn our attention to the one coming in to the south and west as those continue on. But again, heavy rain, a possibility with this thunderstorm from Washington down to Lynn. Circulation is tucked in right here. Again, probably not going to be seen. It looks more like a rain-wrapped situation. Largest of the hail from the northern core is moving up across the state line right now. The other core approaching Washington. And so we'll also get that threat of hail with that particular storm as it moves a little bit to the north and east toward Washington. Hollenberg still under the gun with this particular cell to the northern end. That prompted the first tornado warning. It's right over the top of you, crossing the state line. And as that happens, the northern half of Washington County can breathe a little sigh of relief once it passes Hollenberg, that the storm threat comes to an end on the northern cell. The southern cell continues, although not as intense as it was at times. It still shows periodic intensity, and as it continues to sharpen up, that's the area of concern right there just south of Washington. So the city of Washington, you need to be in tornado shelter right now. Hopefully the storm will pass by with more bark than bite as it passes on through, but it certainly is a rotating thunderstorm there. And as we look, I'll just kind of zoom out through the whole area real quick and kind of give you a recap here. And if somebody will do a loop on the radar, just so we can kind of show the development of it over the western counties. So this is where, watch all these kind of filling in and the intensity of this one growing in southern Dickinson County. That'll move up toward Gary and Riley counties. Need to be watching that in Manhattan, Fort Riley, and Junction City as that storm develops. Right now it's just a thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm, hail and wind, a possibility with that one. And then we have additional storms over Clay and northwestern, it looks like near Milford, northwestern Junction, Gary County area. We do have another storm there. That is blowing up as well. This may turn into more of a line of thunderstorms. We do have the kind of shrunk down area of the tornado warning now as the circulation is south of Washington. When they put out that update, and you see also a new severe thunderstorm warning for Nemaha, Marshall, and northern Pottawatomie counties. But David, did we get any updates on that updated tornado warning?
The tornado warning, again, radar indicated Washington County until 8:15. There have been numerous sightings of the funnel initially, and that's going to continue now as it moves northeast. It was really one cell, and that one's crossing the state line, another cell that's back behind that we've been talking about, and then the numerous severe thunderstorm warnings that may have some straight line wind associated with that between 60 and 75. Hail size is between an inch and a half. And to give you a quick update on what happened with the tornado that clipped the south and southeast corner of Lawrence, they did evacuate the Kansas City airport. We don't have word if that's back in action right now. And Linwood, Kansas, if you have any friends or loved ones in Linwood, they took a direct hit there, and Kansas City is certainly doing intense coverage on that particular situation. We do have crews, by the way, a couple still in Lawrence talking to families that took a direct hit. You'll see that on our broadcast coming up. We've got a crew in Manhattan should these thunderstorms intensify a little bit. We also have one down toward Emporia in case that cell that's moving up west of Emporia strengthens and intensifies. So we've got crews all over the place to cover this. And again, the additional rainfall that we're getting is not good news. We've had very heavy rain rates, and wherever you have one of these thunderstorms, you could quickly get another inch. Matt, back to you.
All right, so what I popped up on here, David, while you were talking, is just the circulation showing up near Washington. The other one crossing the state line. So we'll focus on this one near Washington. We still have the tornado warning. It is radar indicated, but as David was mentioning, that warning goes until 8:15. There's still sightings of funnels, and so this is still a dangerous situation across Washington County, as well as numerous storms that have been produced. Now, severe thunderstorm warnings, Nemaha, northern Pottawatomie, southeastern Marshall County, much of Riley and eastern Clay County under two different warnings, and then another warning that comes in out of Dickinson County into northwestern Morris, as well as the western side of Geary County. Now, we've been watching storms for quite some time. This all really got underway about 3.5, 4 hours ago as this one moved through the Lawrence area. This is kind of this is not live, but this is kind of taking you back to what we saw. That was that large tornado embedded in the rainfall as we were watching that on our camera. Again, this was the broadcast as we were watching it. Some of the time I'll be in front of the shot there. We do have the high winds that blew through, wrapping around that storm. And all the while, as this storm moved through southern Douglas County, did a tremendous amount of damage there. As David was mentioning, a direct hit then after the south end of just outside of Lawrence in the rural areas, a direct hit on the town of Linwood, and then it continued on to the north and east from there. The wind direction kept whipping around and changing in the Lawrence area from our camera site as that tornado, you can see it there, passed just south. You'd imagine, as bad as it was, how much different it would have been had that storm been about 6 miles, maybe even 4 miles farther to the north. A very unfortunate situation, though, for those areas south of Lawrence. Let's head back to the radar. We still have the tornado warning for Washington County. That storm moving across areas just near Washington, moving over to Hanover. Take a closer view at this one. This one is right now a radar indicated threat. We have had some confirmation of funnel sightings on this one, but we have not had a confirmed tornado lately. Now, this storm has had the northern cell, which has crossed into Nebraska, has had a history of tornadoes, and this is certainly in an area favorable for that. But this storm still producing a possible tornado, or at least funnels showing up near Washington. The other one right along the state line. Look at that, make sure it actually has crossed the state line entirely. Circulation is sitting on the state line right now. That'll move up toward Paddock, Nebraska. The other circulation near Washington, not quite as ominous on this one. Now, we are going to continue to kind of follow this storm for a little while longer. If the circulation weakens, we'll get in touch with the National Weather Service, see what their thoughts are on as far as continuation of that warning. Hit the right button here. There we go. We'll see if they're going to continue that warning across Washington County. The original circulation looked a little better than it does now, and so it may not be quite as intense of a circulation near Washington. That's great news if that storm weakens. We do have additional storms farther to the south. Those are all severe thunderstorm warnings at this time, and so kind of pan this back over and I'll show you where all the warnings are located. Currently, we have a several lines of these scattered thunderstorms. Several of them are severe. Only one more with a tornado warning in our viewing area, and that is currently located over northern Washington County. So again, that is the storm that is capable of producing a tornado near the city of Washington. And again, the warning there goes until 8:15 for Washington County. We are coming up right at 8 o'clock. And I know with the programming changing at the hour, we are going to continue on this. If you're just tuning in, we have been in continuous coverage. Just to get you kind of recapped, if you just turned on at 8 o'clock, hoping to watch programming. As soon as lives are no longer in danger, we will return you to programming. We're hopeful that that may happen soon if the storm in Washington County continues to try to weaken a little bit as it moves farther to the east. But as of right now, we remain with a tornado warning for areas around Hanover and Washington. And so this is a storm west of Marysville that needs to be watched very carefully. Hopefully the rotation weakens on it, but we do have a potential tornado with that storm moving through Washington County. It is northeast of Lynn. It is near and just barely north of Greenleaf. It is moving toward Washington and Hanover. This will pass northwest of Barnes as that storm continues to move through, where you see that numerous shaded in yellow severe thunderstorm warnings for hail and gusty winds. But the concern on this particular storm is for the circulation on the cell as it moves across Washington County. It is riding right along a front that has had a history of helping this storm produce tornadoes. And so while it's sitting on that frontal boundary, needs to be watched very closely. We've been scanning the skies in Junction City because there are other severe thunderstorms moving in. I want to put your mind at ease a little bit. At least for right now, if you are in Junction City, Fort Riley, I know a lot of people, this may be one of your first bigger severe weather days, although we've had a few already in the last week. If you're new to Kansas and stationed maybe now at Fort Riley, or your family of someone stationed at Fort Riley, and you're watching this thinking, okay, that's kind of what I was afraid of in Kansas. These are one of those days. It is fortunately not all tornado threats on these storms. A large amount of them, as you see over to the side, that is looking due south out of Junction City. That is now looking back more to the west-southwest at the storm that is approaching you out of Dickinson County. It is not severe. It is severe, excuse me. It is not rotating enough to warrant a tornado warning. We will watch those storms very closely. Looking to the southwest now, that is looking back at this storm right here. Again, not seeing much rotation in it. But as we look to the west, we see some cells over in Clay and northwestern areas of Gary County near Milford, or at least near Milford Lake. That's what you're looking at now on your screen on the other side. That's looking at Junction City, looking to the north and to the west. That is the non-rotating storm, or at least not a significant rotation. As we continue to look to more to the northwest, we're looking back toward the storms in Clay County. Lower bases to them, not rotating significantly. And then as we continue to look off to the north and east from there, we'll continue to see way off in the distance, it is this storm right here. That is the one that has prompted the tornado warning for Washington County. Pop up the warning here again for you. You can see most of these are severe thunderstorm warnings, but the tornado warning goes until 8:15 for Washington County. The threat isn't quite as significant as it was. That's the good news. With the circulation becoming more of what looks like kind of a straight line there, may transition more over to a straight line wind threat on that one. As you can see over to the side here, all of that line looks like it's pushing through. We're no longer seeing a tight circulation in and around Washington on up toward the state line. If you will, message the National Weather Service and see if they have any new reports or anything, or if they're going to continue that warning. It looks as though the circulation that had once prompted that warning isn't what it was once looking. I don't want to give up coverage any earlier than is safe to do, but also don't want to hold on to this if the threat has weakened at all on that one. So see if they can give us any indication on that. If they're seeing what I'm seeing, which looks like the circulation isn't quite as tight. There's another circulation showing up farther south into northern Clay County, but that one may just be a brief kind of in its development stage. The other ones kind of look like they are opening up a little bit, broadening out, not quite as tightly rotating as the storm structure has certainly changed from individualized cells to much more of a line of thunderstorms. And it looks like it's trying to start to transition over into a straight line wind threat across eastern Washington County. So if that continues, then we will hopefully be able to change up our coverage type. And if that is the case, I will say this, as soon as we see the tornado threat diminish, we'll be able to return you to your programming. We're not quite to that point just yet. David?
Matt, what we have is I did ask them about 5 minutes ago, since the rotation seems to be weakening, if they want to continue that. No response as of yet. Obviously, they're incredibly busy. Now it looks like for Clay and Riley County, because of the thunderstorm and some rotation near Morganville, they're going to do a tornado warning on that. And what you're looking at live right now are the power outages from the massive tornado, again, that hit in the Pleasant Grove south of Lawrence area, then went right through Fall Leaf and Eudora, then hit Linwood, and then the Kansas City Metro. So about 13,000 customers with Westar are without power, and of course we're still getting pictures and everything else from that area. But now a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Marshall and Washington for what's going on up there. So that did weaken, but now we've got a brand new tornado warning until this looks like 8:45, and that's going to be for a tornado possibly indicated about 4 miles east of Morganville, moving east at 35 miles per hour.
Yeah, let's go back to the radar, and I'll show you where that is, because that's the one we were actually just talking about on there. This storm north of Clay Center is the one, and I was talking about the weakening of the storm over Washington County, and then right as I was saying that, I said there was that circulation showing up in Clay County, and there it is right there. That's what has prompted the tornado warning, these circulations showing up in northern Clay County. And so when you see that, you'll see where the tornado warning has been extended along that line across northern Clay and over into northern Riley County. Still, the tornado warning continues right now for areas of Washington County until 8:15, but it is being replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning to cover the remainder of that as the threat is transitioning out of that. But Clay and Riley County under a tornado warning now, not including the city of Riley. It does not include the city of Manhattan. This is for areas north of Clay Center, moving across northeastern Clay County, fairly close to Greene, east of Morganville, and then eventually moving on to the east as well as this continues to move into northern Riley County, north of the town of Riley. There's a couple cells out ahead of it, but it's for this cell right here, north of Clay Center, but it is not going to move into Clay Center. It is moving east-northeast, and we'll track across northern Riley County. We'll put a track on that one as well. Movement on that one is getting a little bit more east or slightly north of due east and moving at about 45 miles per hour. Puts it on toward Greene at about 8:15. Randolph, it'll move into that area or near or north of Randolph by about 8:32. And then if it continues on, it'll pass close to Oldsburg, but that's not until 8:43. And so the tornado warning extends across Clay and northern Riley County. Again, these are the storms that are forming not only along the dry line, or at least the front that is pushing through, but also there's a warm front up to the north, and these are developing right at that conjunction. And that's where the kind of the reasoning for that makes it a little bit more problemsome on here of what's going to go on with this one is this little notched storm right here east of Morganville does show signs of rotating. You need to be in tornado shelter from Greene northward and northeastern Clay County, and all areas of northern Riley County, north of Leonardville, north of Randolph, stay in tornado shelter until we can give an all clear on that one, as this storm has had a history of rotation, not for very long, but it has a rapid development, prompted the tornado warning. It includes Greene. It does not include Leonardville. It's for areas north of Leonardville. It includes Randolph and points just to the north for this tornado warning. It does not include Morganville, although it's close to it along K15. That'll continue to move to the east. If you are in Greene and in areas north of Greene and northeastern Clay County, you need to seek tornado shelter at this time. This is a dangerous storm over northeastern Clay County and much of northern Riley County as well. Have any new updates coming in?
At the present time, Matt, we have the tornado warning that was expired for Washington County, so that was good news, mainly funnel sided there. Now we're getting the development of rapidly forming thunderstorms that are strengthening all out through our western counties. We still have the thunderstorms shooting up west and southwest of Emporia right now, and so it looks like this is going to really take aim on Junction City and Manhattan and also the Topeka area as time goes on, but numerous funnels almost being indicated now with some of these individualized cells. And in Kansas City, still stormy, but some improvement. If you have loved ones that are trying to get back toward Topeka, they can probably do that, but they're going to have to avoid some of that damaged area in Lawrence and maybe take 70 versus 10, because that looks like where most of that damage occurred.
Yeah, thank you, David. Again, a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, we do have here shortly, I want to try to take a view of in succession. I'm going to get to Andrew first, but after that, just kind of a heads up, I want to take a look at the Manhattan and Junction City cameras and watch some of those storms. But Andrew Adams, kind of doing a little recap on what happened over in the Lawrence area, has some new pictures we've received in of that tornado. Andrew, let's take a look at that.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I just got this one in from a couple of our storm trackers that we had out earlier. Darren Brennan and Dylan Killeran were out. This is the rain-wrapped tornado as it crossed K10. Why David was mentioning maybe don't drive on K10. There could still be some power line down, issues like that. But you can make out how difficult it is to see where the tornado actually is in this veil of rain. That was one thing with this as it made its way through that was just so difficult and even more especially dangerous about it. Now you can barely see where the lowering does finally make it down to the really the ground. If you look kind of around where the lights are, you can kind of see this edge right here. That's about the tornado, but looking well away from it, that's a gigantic veil of rain. So something that's really, whenever we put out these warnings and we mention it's a rain-wrapped situation, it's not a time to go outside and try to get a look at it because you may not be able to get a look at it. Matt?
All right, Andrew, thank you. And again, we do have numerous thunderstorms that have developed across the western portion of the viewing area, and these are rapidly intensifying. Most of them are just severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have a few that have tornado warnings on them. If you are just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning across northeastern Clay and northern Riley County. The tornado warning that is in effect for Washington County will expire here in just a couple minutes. They're letting it run its course, but it has been extended to the east toward Marysville, fortunately as a severe thunderstorm warning. While still rough, it is not quite as indicated. There's not as much indication on that one rotating as the storm a little bit farther to the south. You can see an update there on the Clay and Riley County storm. That one goes until 8:45 for the tornado warning for an area just north of Greene and over into Riley County. We do have cameras located in Manhattan and Junction City, so I wanted to try to see if we can get a kind of a vantage point on those. Looking at either one of those cameras, we can get a decent view, I think, maybe from the Manhattan one first, if we have that one pulled up. That one is the storm that is probably, or the camera that is closest to that tornadic thunderstorm, at least where the potential for the tornadic storm is, north and east of Clay Center. There you can see over looking in Manhattan, that is looking more to the south and west of all that line of thunderstorms developing. If we'll pan the camera a little bit to the right, I think we get a view. We're going to have to kind of battle with the brightness of the sun, but there's the storm looking more to the west. That is the cell over southern Clay County. And then there is the storm up there as we start to look a little bit more to the right about there. That's the storm itself that is currently over Clay County that has prompted the tornado warning. So again, we have circulations showing up within this area of the storm. Something we'll be watching, whether or not that's a tightening of the circulation showing up north and northwest of Greene over northeastern Clay County. As that moves through, these are forming right along a boundary that helps to create some of that rotation on there. So these storms also enhancing, and as they grow, we're starting to get more and more hail on them as well. That is a concern there, but it doesn't necessarily at this point in time mean that these storms are all going to turn tornadic. I want to make sure you understand that. Just because the conditions are favorable for tornado, you still have to have everything come together on each individual storm, and that's why not every single one of them is producing a tornado on this. So again, from Washington County, severe thunderstorm moving toward Marshall County. We've got additional severe thunderstorms in Clay and Riley County that's prompted a tornado warning for the northeastern portion of Clay County, northwestern Riley County, and then additional storms farther to the south aren't rotating as much. The storm that is rotating right now is the one that is north and east of Clay Center and to the northwest of, right now, it looks like I zoomed a little bit too far to the south. I'll pan that up just a bit. You'll see it here, northwest of Riley. Here's your area of rotation. It's not as well defined right at the moment. It kind of comes and goes a little bit. Here's another look at the velocity. You can see right here, this is the area of circulation most notable on radar, is this spot right here, northeast of Clay Center, that is moving across northeastern Clay County. There have been sightings, I believe, on that one. Is that the one that we had? And I do notice we have a new tornado warning now for the storm that is coming out of Dickinson County into Morris County. So we'll get to that one as well. But this one right here, tornado warning, put that box on there for you, tornado warning for northeastern Clay County and northern Riley County until 8:45. Another view out a little bit wider shows you we do have a new tornado warning. It includes Harrington. It includes northwestern Morris County. This is going to pass south of Junction City. This is a storm that has at least the radar indication of a tornadic circulation showing up on it. It is one right now that is near and west of Harrington, well south and east of Abilene, moving to the east-northeast into western Morris County. That one also a tornado warning until 8:45. You can see out of Manhattan as we watch the storm in northern Riley and northeastern Clay County. We may see if we can get a view looking south out of Junction City. I don't know that we'll see a view from it because we do have a lot of precipitation on that one, but we'll frame that one up looking south across the well, I don't know that we'll actually see that. We'd have to look more south-southwest. That's going to be a lot of rain to look through, but we can try. Let's see if we can see anything out of that. It would be a view looking to there's the storm itself. You see looking through the rain, and that's kind of all we're seeing right there. Looking across that, there's the heavy rain looking on that storm. That's looking from Junction City back through this, trying to see to this area of circulation, which is due west of Harrington. Show you that on the view here. There's your circulation showing up on that storm right on the southern end of it. In southern Dickinson County, this storm has the capability of producing a tornado. It'll move east toward Harrington and eventually into northwestern Morris County. So you need to be taking tornado shelter in southeastern Dickinson and northwestern Morris County. You also need to be taking tornado shelter in northeastern Clay and northern Riley County as well. Tornado warning across this portion of the area shaded in red for Dickinson and Morris until 8:45. And then also farther to the north, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings. That includes Milford, Leonardville, up to about Clay Center. Then it becomes a tornado warning around Greene, on over to near and north of Randolph, over northern Riley County. Farther to the north, eastern Washington, Marshall County. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. We have severe thunderstorm warning from southeastern Marshall to about Seneca and Corning in Nemaha County. And so again, all of these storms continue to move to the north and east. Other than that, things are farther east, rather quiet for now. But these storms will continue to move in a northeastern motion. If we can, let's put a loop on that for me, and we'll see how these are kind of unfolding as these storms continue to blossom pretty quickly, moving from southwest to northeast. And the loop on that one, as you can see, continue to develop and move from southwest to northeast. This one intensifying quite a bit as it moves toward northwestern Morris County. Another couple of storms kind of converging together. You see this little line right here. There's a boundary that this is sitting on. That is why that one is rotating. The cell in Riley County was lifting northward, kind of merging in together with that one. I'll kind of show you that one actually as I'll zoom in a little bit closer on that. And you'll see this cell right here over northern Riley County. This storm on the southern end is moving northward, and the storm is kind of converging together. We'll have to watch that cell merger as that goes on. It may temporarily interfere with things. The circulation has actually been on this portion of the storm, northeast of Clay Center, north of Greene. There is another cell lifting north out of Riley that'll merge with this over northern Riley County, near and north of Randolph. That will need to be watched as well. So again, circulation on these have been kind of coming and going, but there's two areas of concern. It looks like it's temporarily interfering with the circulation as cell merger processes might be going on right now, but we'll watch that one as that storm continues to move off to the east. Overall, the actual circulation. And the other one, back around Hope, we have another circulation moving east-northeast. That'll pass between Woodbine and Harrington and eventually move in perhaps toward Dwight or White City in northwestern Morris County. Again, looking out of Junction City, that is a view to the west-southwest. And so what you're looking at there is the other side of this thunderstorm, which does have the tornado warning on it. That is not including Geary County, but it is looking to the kind of the northern end of the heavier rain as we kind of look this direction. We tried to look at it this way. Obviously can't see anything right through the rain. It just looks dark and gray through that section of the storm. But that is a view looking south. I may have actually had my bearings wrong on that one. That is a view looking back toward the northern end of the storm there. So again, that is looking back through the rain. And again, you can see the obscured view there as we look to the southwest now out of Junction City. Apologies, that other one was looking more to the east. Now we're looking to the southwest across Heritage Park, looking back toward southern Dickinson County. And unfortunately, from that vantage point, there will be no good visibility on this one, but we'll watch that storm as it does have that notched feature on it. It does show some signs of rotation And again, you can see the tornado warning over southeastern Dickinson and western Morris County that goes until 8:45. That storm could produce a tornado. Latest was that it was a radar indicated threat on that storm as it moves across Dickinson and Morris County. David, I don't know if you've got any more updates.
Well, we're getting some large hail reports now. In fact, the largest is up in Washington County. It looks like it's baseball sized, coming in at 2 3/4 inches, and that's that Hollenberg area. And so that was the storm report. Might have been in and near that rotation that we were talking about a while back, and we were so close to ending coverage because that tornado warning was only going to go until 8:15, and it looked like it had weakened. We had one spin and one circulation that was crossing the state line. Then we had another one back behind that, and now it looks like we have so many warnings it's hard to keep track of here. But if you're in harm's way, you need to make sure you get your safe spot because of large hail. Again, a 2 3/4 inch hailstone. That's baseball sized, tennis ball to baseball sized in Hollenberg, and that was at 8:20, so just 1 minute ago. The other hailstorms are not quite that large, at least at the present time, roughly inch and a quarter, something like that. We've had the heavy rain, so there's aerial flood advisories out for many counties. There's the storm warnings that continue for the large hail and the straight line wind potential. Most of those running until 8:30 to 8:45. And then we've got the tornado warning, but the storm reports are vast. And of course, the tornado damage is still being assessed on that south and southeast side of Lawrence. We've got a couple of crews there. Jace Mills and Christina Reese are talking to families hit by that tornado. The tornado photos that are coming in, and meteorologist Andrew Adams is putting those on our social media pages to give you an idea of what's going on. Linwood taking a direct hit. The damage looks to be fairly extensive in that area, but it's a lot of hailstone. It's a lot of straight line wind in some cases going in excess of 50 to 60. And our problem is that these thunderstorms are dumping tremendous amounts of rain. The rain rates are pretty high. Many locations earlier this evening getting 2.5 inches of rain in a 30-minute to 1 hour time period. And that has to get into our creeks and our rivers and our lakes that are already above capacity. And so that's going to really prolong how much recovery we can see on high water. So once the threat of tornadoes and hailstones are over with, then we're still going to have higher water than what we've already seen. And so that's going to really set us back quite a bit as we end May and get into June. So heavy downpours are still occurring. A lot of warnings to take care of, and you need to make sure that now that dinner's over with and that work is done for many people, that you stay where you are. And of course, you can always contact people to watch our coverage, see if you're in harm's way, because the last place you want to be in any of this is in an automobile.
All right, David, thank you. You know, the storm you're looking at on the left-hand side of your screen as we look to the northwest out of Manhattan is this storm. Manhattan off to the south and east here, looking back in this direction at this thunderstorm. Tornado warning was issued for northeastern Clay County as well as northern Riley County. I can tell you right now, looking at a couple different views of the velocity, there is still some circulation right on the Clay and Riley County line, as well as one trying to organize near Leonardville as those two cells are merging together. Right now, that is a good thing that it is not holding together its rotation very well. Doesn't mean there isn't rotation, but it is not holding it together quite as well. And in the short term, that could be a good thing for northern Riley County as that storm continues to move off to the east and slightly to the northeast. But I will say this, the northwestern cell that prompted the tornado warning isn't the stronger of the two when it comes to hail. It is the southern of the two cells that we need to be keeping an eye on as far as that is concerned. So again, what we're going to be looking at on this storm as it moves off to the north and to the east is the southern cell northwest of Leonardville, moving up to northwest of Riley, does have a storm capable of producing a tornado. You can see right now this storm north and west of Leonardville, the original storm right here near Green, moving to the east. We do have a tornado warning on that storm as it moves across northeastern Clay County, northeast of Green, and across northern Riley County as well. In addition to that, we have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warning, which is now for the kind of the update, has it in the southeastern corner, just west of Harrington in Dickinson County, up into the northwestern corner of Morris County. That tornado warning also going until 8:45 with numerous severe thunderstorm warnings as well. These storms continue to move to the north and to the east. and all the motions of those at about 35 or 40 miles per hour. These storms have been filling in. Obviously bears a lot of watching that we need to be doing on these storms as they move through. Hopefully the storm over northeastern Clay and northern Riley County will settle down a little bit and continue to settle down, and the warning won't need to be extended. Can't give the all clear on that yet. The other storm farther to the south also needing to be watched very closely over southeastern Dickinson County. That storm still has this notched feature to it. Northwest of Harrington, southwest of Woodbine. Doesn't look good on radar at this point. The rotation showing up on this one is there, not quite as strong at the low levels, but the storm itself is showing at least a visual sign. Again, not terribly strong rotation there. That's a good sign. Hopefully the warnings will be able to not need to be continued on from that one, because again, that one is a hail-producing thunderstorm. It does have this notched feature to it, but in the latest couple of scans there, it is not showing nearly the rotation that first prompted the warning. We have additional storms down around Hillsboro and then over to the north and west of Wichita, the north, kind of just due north of Wichita, all the way up toward Cottonwood Falls. And again, all of those need to be watched with time to see what they do as the sun goes down and the stronger winds come together. But eventually all these storms will merge together into one larger cluster of thunderstorms and eventually move off to the east. But while they stay individualized, these storms do have the capability of producing a tornado. You can see looking from Manhattan, we're looking back at that tornadic potential of a storm in northwestern and kind of northwestern Riley, northeastern Clay County line area. David?
Well, Matt, earlier we had the big rains across the northern counties, and there's going to be more rain where that came from. So earlier tonight, we had so much rain with larger hailstones, and then that moved away. And then we had the individual cells start to build up toward Topeka and Lawrence. A lot of our problems were around Osage City, kind of working over toward Lawrence with the confirmed tornado. We were showing you video of all of that, and then that moved over toward the Kansas City metro. Now, the cells are moving very quickly at 30 to 45, and sometimes the wind can get translated down to the surface and kind of accelerate just a tad, but really our biggest threat is for some rotation being indicated by radar. Also looking at the possibility of some funnel sighted here. In fact, that looks to be a hook just north of Harrington, so that's why we got the warning right there. That cell again moving northeast, and there's likely a hail core in the center portion of this storm. There's a look at what we're looking at with the velocity mode. You can actually see the reds and greens so close together, the spin, the rotation happening there, and what we're looking at is everything gradually kind of intensifying just a bit right when we were on the edge of actually turning this back over to programming. But now we have life and property threatened again. There's some of the hailstones. Again, 2-inch in diameter up there around Morrowville and working toward the Nebraska border, getting some hailstones in excess of baseball sized. So likely some photographs will be coming in from that. And all of this heading toward Junction City and Manhattan. So in areas where you may not have had much action this evening, you're about to get some pretty strong thunderstorms coming through, and you want to be in your safe spot in case there are broken windows, in case you do have that tornado threat. If you can be underground, you want to shield yourself and protect yourself, and you can watch our live stream and use our mobile app as long as you have that cell coverage. So tornado warning right there in Riley County. That's going to go until 8:45. The one north of Harrington until 8:45 as well. All of these cells working toward the Manhattan area. The mobile app's going to keep you handy here with KSNT.com and the KSNT mobile app. You can sign up, you can get your alerts. And there are the flooding problems that we've had from heavier rains about an hour and a half to 2 hours ago in Shawnee County, Osage County, working down toward Emporia. That's going to exacerbate the flooding problems that we already have. Some locations getting 2 to 2.5 inches of rain in 30 minutes to 1 hour's time period. And then we have the damage in Lawrence. We've got a couple of crews there, Christina Reese and Jace Mills, talking to families hit hard. That cell went right by Eudora, headed toward Bonner Springs and into the KC Metro. So numerous problems here. We've got the flooding problems, the severe thunderstorms with large hail, and then the tornado threat. These cells are rotating. The upper storm is in the Rockies and is gradually heading this way. So it looks like we're going to have problems as we start going through that period of seeing the tornadic cells continue, the threat continuing even past sunset, and that's going to put us closer to the 10 o'clock broadcast. Right now, 8:29, and these are still moving toward the east. If you're in Topeka, you need to be aware that these cells will be on you in probably an hour, hour and a half's time, moving in that direction. So what you've had, you're not done with yet. and it looks like the very back edge is still kind of flaring up just a bit out there toward Beloit and Concordia and working toward the northeast as well. So numerous cells that are severe, large hail producers. Funnel clouds have been sighted, and we'll keep you posted on all the warnings here that include the flood warnings and advisories, the severe storm warnings, and we're on air continuously because of a couple of tornado warnings. Matt?
Yeah, and that new tornado warning, kind of not new, but at least the kind of the new box that is trimmed off the Clay County side of it as the storms exit out of Clay County. It is just now northern Riley County under that tornado warning, but numerous cells are developing in Riley County. What may end up happening is as they all merge together, this could become one dominant cell over the northern portion of the area. We'll keep an eye on that particular potential out of that part of the storm. The other storm, still with that notched feature northwest of Harrington, also has tornado warning on it. As we look, that is a view out of Manhattan. Looking to the northwest, we're looking past this first cell, which is what kind of we see the fuzziness on that, trying to see back up even more to the north and west from there as the more intense cell, which also has golf ball size hail threat on that. That'll move across Riley, northwestern Pottawatomie County, and on up into Marshall County as well. There again, looking at those storm clouds to the north and west. Unfortunately, there's becoming so many thunderstorms in between, and now we're kind of looking more to the north and east. You see looking up toward Blaine, it clears out. So as we look back to the left there, you'll see the storm clouds on that view, again, are looking first at the cell just northwest of the city of Manhattan. Looking back even farther to the northwest is where we're trying to see the cell itself. But unfortunately, there's one rain right in the way as we look. You can hold it right there. I think that's looking past the storm. If we can get any kind of view past that first cell, that's the direction that we'd want to be looking on that one as we look on to the north and northwestern part of Riley County. Up in the northern part of the county, that's where the tornado warning continues at this time. The reports there, we've had some funnels, no reported touchdown. That is good news. We haven't had any reports of that. Hopefully it stays that way, at least not in that area. These storms have had a long history of circulation, the one that came up through Washington County. Seen some funnel cloud reports on the cell that is southwest of Emporia, but that's well to the southwest. So our attention is going to turn to all of these storms. Sorry, hit the wrong button again there. All right, so here's our view across there. We had the funnel report and the possible debris swirling up earlier just after 5 o'clock outside of Osage City. And then, of course, the damaging tornado that went across the Lawrence area, Linwood, on up toward western Kansas City. Now we've got some hail reports that have been coming in not only from Topeka and points to the north, but we're starting to add some of that in to the north and west as well. All right, so if the Manhattan camera, we've been watching that one looking off to the north and west. The city of Manhattan itself, though, not in the tornado warning. So just want to make sure you understand what we were looking at in Manhattan. That is a storm that is off to your north and to your northwest. Kind of give you some bearings here. We do have a heavy rain event about to take place in Junction City. Manhattan, not in the tornado warning, but northern Riley County is. And we do have Reyna Garcia. She is in Manhattan. Reyna, I don't know, you can tell us if we've had a lot of rounds of rainfall already moved through there. All the talk in Manhattan about flooding rains. And a lot of these heavy rains are up into the drainage basin to Tuttle Creek. I don't know if you've heard any kind of rumblings of what might be going on there. It might be a little too early to know, but what have you been seeing in Manhattan?
Yeah, Matt, I was here earlier today, and that's when we saw a lot of rain, and as I left, a lot of it cleared out, and as we came driving back in this evening around 7:30, it was pretty bright outside, no rain, hardly any clouds, but as we drove outside of Manhattan, we started to see a lot more of these darker clouds rolling in, and we are starting to feel some drops of rain, as well as we're hearing some rumblings of thunder and some lightning, and seeing some lightning. And the wind is also starting to pick up a little bit here too, so definitely has got a lot darker since we pulled up, and that was maybe just 5 minutes ago. So you can definitely feel something coming in this way, but like I said, starting to feel a little bit of rain, hearing some thunder, and starting to get a little windy out here.
All right, Reyna Garcia in Manhattan. Thank you, Reyna. Again, that storm that has produced the tornado warning for the northern part of the county, not going to hit the city of Manhattan. That is this cell up here. It is going to move up into Marshall County with a decent hail risk. We have the other storm that is producing the heavy rain in Junction City, but that is going to be a little bit farther to the south. We've been telling you also about trying to keep up on the go with this, and of course you can always download the KSNT Storm Track Weather app for the warning information. You can have the KSNT mobile app so that you can get our streaming live coverage anything as you need to go take shelter, good to have on hand as well. The storm moving across Riley County right now, very quickly moving off to the east and to the northeast. The bulk of that is cleared out of already Clay County, and it looks like the majority of that clearing out of Riley County. We'll see if that gets extended any farther to the north and east on that particular tornado warning at this time. We have a small area under a tornado warning in Morris County and just north of Harrington in eastern Dickinson County as well. That one goes until 8:45 on that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning for Chase County, Cottonwood Falls area. That is for this storm over pretty much all of Chase County until 9:15. We'll watch that one for Emporia. We do have crews in Emporia as well. And then this storm moving across Marshall County, severe. That one could produce up to about golf ball size hail. So I'll take a look at that. That is another concern we've had with these storms, are hail producing storms coming into the western side of Marshall County. Not quite as intense of the hail over northern Riley County, and then more hail over eastern Dickinson County that may move into southwestern Gary County and northwestern Morris County, as well as the hail right around Cottonwood Falls. That may move across Chase County toward Emporia as well. So numerous storms ongoing. The warnings right now included in this tornado warning is northern Riley County, then as well as Dickinson and Morris counties. That one goes until 8:45. The Riley County warning also goes until 8:45. The storm is exiting out of the warned area here shortly over northern Riley County. So we'll watch to see whether or not there's an extension needed at this point in time. Radar not really showing that it will need to be extended beyond that. So we're getting down here to the last few minutes here. I'll say that one more time on that one. All right, we are getting some interviews that we've been doing over in the Lawrence area that we'll get to here just 1 second. I'll pop up radar again one more time across the region. You can kind of see these storms now concentrated. Things are quieting down to the west, concentrated over our western and moving into the central counties. Still a stormy evening. Cleanup's been underway in the Lawrence area. Let you listen to some of what we've heard out of Lawrence so far.
He has employees that work out of here. This is a place that everybody comes to for holidays, and they're waiting for construction to happen, and that's going to be put on hold. So.
All right, so again, we are watching these storms as they continue to move off to the north and to the east. Again, that was kind of an interview that you were hearing about of some of the damage that had been done on the south end of Lawrence out of that storm. So again, people are still kind of figuring out just how bad it was. We did hear, obviously, of several homes and businesses just south of Lawrence, but also the town of Linwood taking a direct hit. That was from that first storm. Now we have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings in effect to the west. We do have tornado warnings that continue across northern Riley County as well as Dickinson and Morris County until 8:45. Those are continuing to be monitored on that one. We had some pretty big hail that came in from the Hollenberg area. If we switch to the Max 2 side, I can kind of show you that one. This one we got submitted in of just some of the large hail that crossed over right as it was crossing over northern Washington County. That one produced some pretty significant hail sizes as well. As you can see, I didn't get a name on that one, but I can tell you that was sent our way from the town of Hollenberg. That is in northern Washington County on the state line. That one looks like it may have come from the name Juniman. So just so we get the correct correct photo courtesy on that one. All right, let's go back to the other computer source and we'll show you where the warnings are in effect. As of right now, we've got just a couple more minutes left on these warnings, about 6 minutes left on them. The National Weather Service is expiring the warning in Riley County and will not extend it farther to the east. We have not gotten word, so that one means the one in Riley County is essentially the threat has ended there, so that one you're good. And so northwestern Pottawatomie County, Marshall County, it will just be a severe thunderstorm warning. The issue that we've not heard what will happen yet is what's going to happen to this storm right here as it moves across northwestern Morris County. I can tell you by looking at it, it does not show the sign of strong rotation that it initially did. That is a good sign. It still has that notched feature east of Woodbine, west of the White City area. And as that continues to move through Morris County, I'll kind of take a closer look at it. It is getting just a little northwest of Latimer, again due west of the White City area, east of Woodbine. Looks like it's got that notched feature. Then we look at the rotation, and it's just not strongly there. And so likely the National Weather Service will decide whether or not we need to, but at this point, unless we see something ramp up, that one may be allowed to expire as well. And at that point, if it takes place that way, we will return you to your programming here shortly. So we'll see if that update comes in. As of right now, I want to give you kind of a summary of what we've got going on here. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. I'll pop those up for you so you can kind of see. There you see the radar view. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Washington County. This one continuing on to the north and east, it looks like, not being extended for Dickinson and Morris County. So Morris, Geary, Riley, and Wabunsee County, severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like we'll replace this tornado warning. The tornado warning expiring across Riley County. So northern Riley, northwestern Potawatomi County, and Marshall County under severe thunderstorm warnings. The other severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the eastern part of Dickinson, northern Morris, Geary, southern Riley, northwestern and west central Wabunsee County. That storm has hail with it. That'll continue to move through. Hail across Chase County. We'll watch that for you in Emporia. That may be moving your way. Still could see severe thunderstorms moving through, but it does look like the threat has kind of come to an end on these tornado threats. Likely will not be extended to the north and east. That last of the warnings in Dickinson and Morris County being replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves farther to the north and to the northeast. And so at this point, looks like the National Weather Service has allowed that one to, made the official statement that they're allowing it to expire, but based on the continuation, the extension of that warning as a severe thunderstorm warning, it looks like the tornadic threat has come to an end on those storms. And with that, we are going to wrap up our continuous wall-to-wall coverage of this. We'll tell you this, if you've been watching our coverage and curious as to what's going to happen, as soon as we know whether or not we're able to, with the rules of the networks and everything, if we're able to re-air our programming on NBC, we will be sure to pass it along. We'll post that information on KSNT.com. We'll let you know on our broadcast tonight on KSNT News. We are in the middle of America's Got Talent, so you'll be watching that, joining it in progress, and anything that we can do to help you catch up on your programming, we will do, and we appreciate your patience with that. And unfortunately, we did have damaging tornadoes move through part of the area. We'll continue to keep you updated from KSNT Storm Track Weather.
We now join our regularly scheduled program, already in progress.
Ninja Warrior returns with a game